like Rumble. So it looks like all of our platforms are down, except
Thank you.
for
All the platforms are down
No,
too?
no, I'm sorry, they're up. I meant to say they're except for on YouTube. It says it's the showdown.
Yeah, that's what happened. Something happened with
Okay.
the stream and it messed up the title.
Got it. Okay, but it says cancel this. But our name of today's episode is the showdown. It's a showdown between Vic and Lizzie. That's why it's a showdown. Mhm.
This is the showdown, yeah.
This is the showdown. It's the slap down showdown. Be ready for it, Joe.
I'm always ready for the smackdown.
Yeah, you are. It's fine. Yeah, it actually is fine the way it is, though, Joe.
Well, now that I have access to things, I can change it.
That's right. It just says it's the showdown, but it can be the Monday morning showdown.
So are we on in sound and everything up?
Yes, everything's up. We're
Everything's good. We're on every platform.
Bendy and Kim and Chris, good morning.
Megan likes your blazer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
like
Thank
the combo.
you. I appreciate it. Hadn't worn it forever.
Looks good.
I have had it forever and I needed to get it taken in.
You know what I've noticed? Oh, you've had it taken in? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Made it
and I
lower?
still more. Yeah.
Look at
I'm
you.
losing weight.
Look at you.
The Ozempic freaking works. I'm just telling you.
Look at you.
I'm like 24 pounds
Mhm.
in 3 months.
Any stomach aches or anything with it?
I've had zero issues.
That is amazing.
Nothing. It's just I don't eat as much. I don't have a desire for alcohol like that. Like my
Yeah.
nothing.
That's good. That's good. And the combination of your blazer and the shirt, that's back in. Like that was really in years ago. And now it's like you can get clothes out of your closet that people wore 20 years ago and now they're back in. Like the florally stuff and
This phone is driving me crazy.
Bindi wants to know, did you sleep better over the weekend?
I did.
Good.
Amazingly well.
Good.
Thank you for asking. Oh my God, this stuff. My phone. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Show before the show. Getting ready to start. Like, subscribe, share the show. You know what we do there. You guys are great. We appreciate you. Get all their platforms up and rolling here. Your daughter had a good weekend of track, I hear.
She did. She had a really good weekend. And she had a volleyball tournament. The kid just loves sports. Loves it. She's pretty intense about it either. She does not see the humor in kids that come out to sports and just want to have fun. She's like, no, we came here to win. If you want to have fun, go home and play your video game. Literally, she's that intense. She's like, you can have fun while you're doing it, but you have to win.
Joe, what'd you do this weekend? Did you work? You had a lot of work on your plate.
I did work this weekend. I photographed a football combine at Francis Hall.
How was that?
It was good. It was really good, actually.
That's awesome.
It was,
I was actually talking about our work.
Oh, no, I wasn't able to get to, I was pretty busy the whole weekend.
That's all good. Good
But
stuff.
today, I am tackling a lot.
It's Monday already. I woke up and I'm like, is it Monday already? The weekends just fly.
Yeah, it's Monday already.
It is Monday.
We are here.
Looks like a lot of our listeners, I saw them on Facebook this weekend. Looks like they had a lot of fun things going on.
Well, it was Derby Day.
Yep. It's a lot of derby pictures. I didn't get to partake with all the things my daughter was doing, but I sure liked living vicariously through the people who were doing that stuff.
You do. Joe, I sent you a pic. Okay, buddy.
All
So
right.
we should start the show.
I love seeing people's hats.
You do, huh?
I do.
I'll show you a little fascinator in a second.
Okay, good. Good. I love it, even if I can't go to it. I love watching my friends and
So if you want to see one,
have
I'm
fun.
sending Joe a picture. So I'll show you one. We'll show once the show starts. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Susan said, all weekend I thought about looking at my eyes in the mirror and chickened out. I wanted to see my face melt.
Yeah, don't be doing that crazy
I know.
crap.
You know what? I dare you guys to do that because I've done it. Why don't you all stare in the mirror? Was it 60 seconds, I think? Somebody dared me to do it.
No, I'm not doing that stuff.
I did it, and it is really weird. My face didn't melt. That's not what it is. It's like my eyes kept
My
having a
face
tunnel
didn't
in it.
melt.
Yeah, like some people say your face melts. My face did not melt. But if anybody does
Mhm.
that, let us know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. What do we got today? What do we got? Hope everybody had a good weekend. We're here getting ready to go. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let everybody know where we're at, what we're doing, what we've got going on. It's so funny. I don't get out all that much, but when I do, I still have people go, "You're the news guy."
Yeah. You're the newsy news.
I watch you on TV.
Uh-huh.
Still,
Yep.
I have witnesses of it happening
I believe that.
constantly.
Yeah. When people say,
That's it. I'm just going to tell you, that is what I speak about St. Louis. This place is it's so old and people get stuck in their mind and they can't get anything out of it, good or bad. It's just, this place is like, it takes forever to do anything in this
for any
place.
change, because we like things the way they always were. That's true. I'm not saying it's right, but we like
Or
it.
good.
Yeah, we like it, like when a road changes. I remember back in my day when this was a 2-lane highway down there on Highway 94, and it's changed so much where I live that, yeah. Megan says you had a fan club for you on Saturday at the winery.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you Megan's fascinator in just a second.
Good. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
She looked absolutely amazing.
I have no doubt. She's gorgeous.
No, but I only bring it up because it's just so bizarre how people.
Mm-hmm.
I had another guy. I was standing in line to go to the bathroom. I mean, literally like 10, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 times.
Yeah.
He's like, "I know you.
I know you.
I watch you." I'm like, cancel this.
That's funny. When I send our show to people, they'll be like, "That's the news guy." I'm like, "Yeah, now you need to switch it to podcast news." Still telling the news.
Okay, another funny story real quick. Before we start the show here, we're at Mass last night. Literally just received the Eucharist, or I'm getting ready to go up and get Eucharist, that's communion. And a beautiful elderly lady is walking by. She had just received. And she looks at us and she like smiles and waves. And I didn't say anything because, I'm in the moment. I'm getting ready to accept Jesus Christ, the most important thing that you can ever do in the faith. And I'm like, okay. Then she walks back as we're on our knees praying. "Do I know you?"
I love it. Jesus would be fine if she came and talked to you during that period of time.
Never have I ever seen that happen.
I love that a lot, actually.
And
Great.
she was angelic to keep with the
sweet
theme.
lady.
And then as we're leaving, she looks at me and she goes, I know you. And then, because that happens a lot. And if it's like 99.9% of the time, it's people new from the news.
Correct.
Or cancel this.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm like, "Ma'am," and I was just trying to be sweet. I didn't want to get into the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Ma'am, I don't know." And she's like, I think you look like my investor. I think.
Say, lady, all my money's wrapped up in my newsboy stuff.
So I said, no. I said, most of the time if this happens, it's because I used to be on the news. And she's like, no. She's like, well, news, Fox. She's like, well, did you left? I'm like, yeah, I left. She's like, did you graduate to another station?
Did you graduate to another station?
That was I'm like, no.
That's cute.
I said, no, we do a podcast show daily, podcast, TV, audio, all the platforms on social media.
So you did graduate. You graduated up.
That's right. I said, cancelthisshow.com. I said, it's kind of a weird name, cancelthisshow.com. And she's like, I will catch you there.
Oh, sweet lady. Too bad you didn't get her name. We could give a shout out to her. Because even if she's not watching live, people watch it later.
I don't know. It's just a very, very sweet woman.
I love that. That's great.
Loved it, loved it, loved it.
So good.
Okay, let's see. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the show before the show. All right, guys. Joe, I guess we can go ahead and start everything off, buddy. Oh, I like it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the show before the show. It's over. It is now time to rock on Cancel This, cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house. A lot of Trump news over the weekend. A lot of Trump news heading into the week. Why Trump? Well, that's what's in the news. He seems to rock and roll. Good morning, everybody jumping in on the chat line. It is the People's Platform. Good morning to Anthony, Tanya, Bindi, Annette, Tommy, Megan. So many people jumping in. We appreciate it. We love you guys. Let us know about stories that you want to talk about, events, if you have political interviews, things from that standpoint. And we've got Scott Vaughn coming on this week from the Missouri Times. We've got Justin Hicks running, and I can't wait for that. He's got a big event coming up Thursday night as well.
He does.
We'll be out there promoting him for that event. Grateful for that. We'll see who else we have coming up this week on the show. John Rourke from the Great American Cleanup.
Is he coming on too?
Yeah.
Oh, good. We're gonna have good guests.
He's rocking and rolling with his podcast now.
I love it.
He loved what we did here, so he started doing his own.
Good for him.
I know he's starting to get it out there. He gets it. We appreciate that because we're talking about all the protests while we're talking about Trump. The border is still wide open, by the way.
Yeah.
And not enough people are talking about it and what's happened because we go from cycle to cycle, news cycle to news cycle. And we get pissed at that. Bendy says she's looking forward to Thursday to getting out and supporting Justin Hicks at the Brinkman's Farm. Absolutely gorgeous. Never been there, just have seen some pictures and heard all about it.
Yeah, I've never been there either. I hear it's fascinating.
We've also got news coming up today regarding the protest. They haven't stopped. Now, guess what? They're being linked to Joe Biden financial donors.
Of course.
And then, of course, we've got all kinds of news. We got video. We got all kinds of things heading up. We appreciate it. Annette says, I love John Rourke. How could you not love John with everything that he has done and is trying to do? Okay. You had a big weekend of track with your daughter. We were talking a little bit about that. I don't get out that much. Megan and I don't get out that much, but big Kentucky Derby. I love the Derby. At some point in time, I will get to the Derby to check that out. And it better be nice when I do go there.
It better be nice.
Yeah, no rain. Else. Can't have rain.
That's right.
Can't have rain. So we were talking about you love hats and you love living through other people's pictures.
I do. I like to see people happy. I like to see people I know on Facebook doing something great and happy. I love those.
But I do too.
I love it.
But there's also people who try to tear others apart when you do.
You're right. They do. I don't like those posts though. I don't like it when people are trying to tear other people apart. Doesn't make me happy about that at all. I just don't respond. I don't say anything snarky. I just scroll on past them.
All right. Well, Meg and I went out to Cedar Lake. Is it Cedar Lake Cellar or Cedar Lake Winery? It's way in the hell out. Way out.
Right, it's in Wright City, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
a neat place.
It's like Kansas.
Did you get a slushie? It's not like well, it's
kidding.
better than Kansas.
I walked
Did you
in.
get a slushie?
I walked in and had one purchased for me, sitting on the table waiting.
I love that. They have the best slushies there ever.
Yes. But so we had a good time out there. Anyway, wanted to show this picture. Here's a fascinator for you.
Okay, I want to see it.
A fascinating fascinator.
Fascinating fascinator. Projo's going to put a fascinating
It's up there.
Fascinator. I don't see it.
Oh, you don't see the picture?
No, I don't.
Oh, go ahead and do the refresh on your computer.
Okay.
On Restream, if you hit refresh,
There you go.
and then it should pop up. That's usually the problem I have.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that works.
Oh, I see it now. I do see it now. Oh, that is a fascinator. That is absolutely a fascinator. That is such a striking couple right there.
Thank you.
And I like how long Megan's hair has gotten. Because when I met her, it was about 4 inches short. That is so pretty. And your hair looks very shiny there. Like
very gray.
I like it though.
No, she's beautiful. And
she is beautiful.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. She's one of the neatest humans ever.
So we have that fascinate.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pop?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, just real quick. Okay. So that fascinator, I've learned about the fascinators that you put in. So you can have the big hat or the fascinator. Do you care? Oh, Megan Marie says, love the dress. Best looking couple in town. That's very kind of her to say.
I totally agree. And genuinely nice people too. Even though you two are like, I remember the first time I met you at Johnny's Hideout and you two come walking in and I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are so beautiful looking. You look prettier than Barbie and Ken. But
we're down to, we're humble people.
Completely. David and I gravitated to the two of you instantly.
Likewise.
Yeah,
likewise.
We did. We just thought you guys were so great.
So yes, we had a great time and we've talked about Megan having my back for a long time.
Yes, she has.
She
has.
So we're grateful from that standpoint. But Cedar Lake did a really good job. Oh, by the way, look at the picture. Do you see the slushie at the bottom right of the corner?
I do see this. You did have it. Yeah, you can't go out there and not have a slushie.
So
love that.
That was the slushie. The problem is I'll suck all that stuff down.
Yeah.
But since I started Ozempic, I really haven't had a big desire for lots of sugar.
That's a good thing.
But I tasted, I was like, damn, I think I could drink like 10 of these.
Yeah.
And then
you got to be careful with those. Yeah. Because they don't taste like alcohol at all. And they're just so yummy.
But anyway, so we had a good time. It was fun watching the Derby. Hope everybody's ready to rock and roll. Thanks, Joe, for popping that picture up. You said fascinator. So we showed the fascinator.
Yeah, she's a fascinator. You both are fascinating.
But it's good when we have a chance to enjoy and get out and do some things. So, but literally out there, and then another place that we went later in the evening, just catching up with friends, at 8 to 10 people go, hey, you still work? Hey, you're from Fox News. Are you right?
Love it.
And I didn't have to explain the story to anybody.
Yeah. Well, nobody cares anymore. Nobody
they
cares.
shouldn't. Or
who cares?
Or why?
Or why? Yeah, nobody cares anymore.
Why?
Time is the greatest healer. It really is. The longer
everything.
time goes on, nobody cares why you don't work there anymore or whatever happened. People care only for the brief 2 weeks to 2 months. And people move on.
But anyway, hope everybody had a terrific weekend. As we say, this is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. Projo was out working on the weekend too. Busy boy, right?
Oh yeah, every weekend. But yeah, this past weekend, I photographed a football combine at Francis Hall.
Okay, well, I brought you in so that we could see you, Joe.
I do not have that set up.
But what do you mean you don't have it set up? What the fudge? Dude,
come on, Joe. You know you're going to aggravate.
Dude, you get busy at work. You get busy outside of work, and then you come in and you're like,
myself are the last priority when I come in here.
You should understand how humble he is. You're the only one that really cares that his picture's on there, and I know why you do, because you want to give him credit for it.
And we're kind of a big deal. It's another.
And he is a big deal. He is a big deal. He is. But he doesn't, he's too humble to think he's a big deal.
Oh my God, Joe.
He is. Joe is very humble. But Joe, we
Right.
would like to see your pretty face.
I'm working on it.
I know.
Okay, well, just pop you in when you get a chance.
He's just humble. That's why.
So I know there's a lot of people who want to hear news and
There we
us. There we go. Is Joe in yet?
There he is.
I'm right
There he
here.
is.
I only see the picture.
See, there's something.
What?
Maybe you need to refresh now.
Yeah, no, you
Joe.
No,
Joe, what's
something,
going on with
something.
this
No,
It's
no,
not- I don't
something's
know.
wonky with Facebook because
Yeah,
even my phone is
it-
different than the computer.
Yeah, something's going on.
It's weird.
Restream is
Yeah,
kind of
it's-
weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you know what? Stephanie says that they watched the Derby at Wendy's.
Oh, nice.
That is awesome, Stephanie.
Yeah,
That's
good. I'm glad
great.
you go over there and check out Ben and Crew. Most
Yeah.
definitely.
Wonderful.
Okay, guys, we appreciate. There's Joe. I just wanted to see Joe. Joe's been
Mhm.
working a bunch. We appreciate it again, and let's rock and roll on Monday. We were easing into the show, so if you were with us, we appreciate it. Thanks for being patient. Getting into the politics. That's kind of our local deal. Just kind of sharing the weekend, getting ready to rock and roll. I love the Kentucky Derby. I love the horse races, and I love that it was a very close race. So there you go. Okay. With that being said, Donald Trump back in action this week. Had a big weekend. They raised almost $80 million over the weekend. Another situation that's going down too. From over the weekend, people just love to see him, and we love to show it when people get excited. Wherever he goes, he was in Miami for the Formula One.
Yeah.
And just listen to the support that he got when he was there. Everywhere Donald Trump goes, he gets support.
Yeah, he does.
Everywhere Donald Trump goes, people love to see him. They have to get up close. Everywhere Donald Trump goes, he leaves a favorable impression. It's all freaking positive everywhere. Where Joe Biden goes, nobody shows up. Nobody says anything. Nobody gets excited. And of course, we shouldn't be surprised. Listen to the support that Donald Trump was getting. It just looks like everywhere else he goes. Isn't
I
that
love
awesome?
it. Yes. Every time I hear that, it just does me good.
Isn't it cool to see both him and Biden when they go out? Everybody cheers USA for both Biden and Trump.
Oh, they do. Everybody loves Biden. Haven't you
Oh,
noticed?
yeah.
They love Biden.
He has nobody out. There's no way
Nobody.
he has anybody voting for him of any interest
No.
when it comes to numbers. They're not chanting USA. They're not into the red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a man, America first, America first, America first. He is just kicking ass all over the freaking place. By the way, ABC put out a poll and said, well, Joe Biden and Donald Trump are neck and neck. They're even. Yeah. And is there a 20% plus minus error?
Mm-mm-mm.
Literally, that's going down right now. Also, over the weekend, a Rasmussen poll was released, and I don't know if this is good or bad. Rasmussen came out. That's pretty legit polling. A lot of history down the middle. Says 4 in 10 people of the thousands that they polled said that they feel there will be a civil war of types if Donald Trump somehow is not president after everything that we are seeing leading into this election and all the support that he has and what polling has said as well.
Part of me
4 in 10.
I know. And I think that's probably an accurate account too, because the other 6 people they won't do it. Like, and I would have thought there would have been 100.
Well, maybe they might even, some of them might be Democrats.
That's true. That's true.
But think about this. You're talking about civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants war.
Nobody wants
But
war.
so
People
foreign-
want the president they elected.
I mean, that's massive. That 40%
Yeah, people have had
said
it.
civil war.
Yeah. People have had it.
That's a huge, huge deal.
I do believe it though. I really do, because I would have thought that prior to the pandemic that people would have rose, and they didn't. And they know they've been duped. And now they know they've been duped again about their president, and they've had it. And they are really rising up to the occasion because they see what the other alternative. They see that Joe Biden is ruining our country.
How about more polling? Polling from Washington State. Okay, Washington State, which has been hardcore liberal for a long time. Even polling in Washington State right now has Donald Trump leading that massively Democratic state by 1%.
That's
People, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens with the election, who knows? God knows what's going to happen with mail-in ballots and illegals voting and dead people voting. I know the RNC, and we broke that down for the last 3 weeks to a month regarding what they're trying to do to make sure that cheating doesn't happen. And if it does, it's very minimal. Now you have even Trump leading in the state of Washington.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
What the hell? This is good stuff going on.
It's good stuff.
Okay, and if you don't think that that is real, I don't know what else you possibly could,
Mm-hmm.
because these things continue to happen.
That's right.
Donald Trump gaining momentum everywhere he goes, over and over and over again. And they continue to sue. Like, for example, Trump and the RNC, they're now suing Nevada over ballot counting rules.
Good. They're getting ahead of it.
They're trying. And that's why we
are.
try to bring focus to it. You see a lot of this stuff going on right now.
Right. I was surprised at how much the RNC did not get ahead of it in 2020. But now they are getting ahead of it because, as Trish is saying, if Trump doesn't get voted in, it's rigged. Most of us knew that in 2020, but people just didn't care. They were just like, okay, well, it's now the Democrats' turn, so we'll do it. Well, now they realize you can't let the Democrats come back in anymore. You can't, because they're no longer, our mom and dad's Democrats. They are progressive liberals who are running the Democrat Party. You can't let them in anymore. You just can't.
Well, now on top of everything else, you've also got a situation with the popularity that Donald Trump has, these riots that have been going on.
Mm-hmm.
Funders to the PACs that are sending money to these rioters are the same people that are promoting and giving money to Joe Biden. And we're not just talking about George Soros. Several groups pushing. These are groups that are pushing Joe Biden for president and giving money to groups that are protesting.
And you know where you can go find that? Open Society Foundations. That's the biggest group that Soros funds money through. And it has now been proven that Open Society Foundations is giving to these riots. You can track it now, where before it was kind of vague and you didn't know where Soros was going. These Democrat parties funnel it through a lot of different associations. But even Brian Kilmeade was saying the other day that Open Society Foundations is doing it. And as soon as I heard Brian Kilmeade say that, he tends to be more moderate. And when he's calling out, that's the name of the group, that's true.
And by the way, polling, as we continue to talk about polling, polling for and against the riots, it is massively in favor of being against this. America does not like this.
No.
They don't want to see it. It's total bullshit. They know that these anti-Israel haters, people who are acting like animals, and they are, you see the video, they're acting like animals, and they need to be called out for that. Because if you act like an animal, you need to be called an animal. Now, you're a human, but if you act like something, then that's what you were being at that time. And if you're acting like an animal, you need to be called out as one.
That's right.
A rabid animal. And it's sad to see these people doing this with no respect for other human beings' rights, personal rights, civil rights, any sort of rights. And who's to say that you have a right to go abuse others, to attack them?
They think they do.
That's why there's laws.
Yeah.
So they continue to do what they're doing. So all of these things continue to happen. And case in point, I saw this come down last week. Total dumbass, total asshole. CEO Andrew Dudum, if you look him up, last week, he's the CEO of Hims and Hers. And he came out last week and said that he was encouraged by young America standing up and doing what they were doing. Guess what, dumbass? America responded and his stock dropped like an anchor in water. So what did he do? Oh, he came out yesterday and said he does not condone nor support acts of threats of violence, anti-Semitism, or intimidation. Of course, now, because America's responding. We're entering the third week of this crap, this made up stuff, this hate towards Jews, this hate towards America, because it started with Jews. And that was the funnel to get to America. Now it's hate America.
Correct.
You know what that is and
yes,
how that's going down the stream. And America's responding pretty intently.
Yeah, I so happy
trying to stop
that.
all the crap that's going on with everything that's happening.
That's right.
And that's why America's like, wait a second. These riots are being funded by Democratic funders, Democratic sources. And these are the people that like Biden. That's why you have polling, what I was just talking about, coming from Rasmussen, where 40% of voters say it's somewhat or very likely to occur within the next 4 to 5 years, talking about civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Civil war.
Yeah.
16% of those surveyed said a second civil war is very likely to occur in the next 5 years. 25% said this is somewhat likely. 29% said this is not very likely. But then here you go, only 30%. 20% said this is not likely at all, and 10% said they're just not sure. But you have 40% of people saying, yeah, it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. People are so tired of it. I think that's accurate. I really do. All you have to do is see these protests. But what is the thing that gives me hope or fear? I'm not sure which it does, is all the youth. Because before it was us middle-aged people that had it, and we were all upset about it. But the Democrats and these open society Soros type funds, they keep overplaying their hand. And now our youth is getting involved. Even people, some of our youth that thought Democrats are fine, are raising up. They have had it. They want the country that we grew up in, not the ones now that they're getting handed to by the Democrats.
From the chat line, yeah, Mr. Hims and Hers owner changed his tune, Mark, when his generic Viagra sales went down.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, these kids don't need your garbage. Hims and Hers, it's a knockoff, cheaper version of Viagra, if you didn't know that, just in case. So yeah, we're continuing to show that. By the way, once again, just to remind you, if you didn't see already, over the weekend, protesters doing their thing because we're more important than you.
That's right.
Our feelings, do what we say, or else, continue to happen.
That's right.
Virginia State. I mean, once again, how many times do we need to see this? If you're out protesting, you're not a good person. You're just not. And you know why you're not a good person? Because you're part of a riot. You're part of a mob.
That's right.
And if you go out and you see this behavior happening and you choose to stay, you become a part of it. You are guilty by association, whether you're doing something or not. If you're marching with others that are breaking the law, guess what? You are guilty by association.
That's right.
You can't say, well, I'm not going to do this or do that. Case in point, last week, there was a peaceful protest at SLU. Do I like it? No, but guess what? It was peaceful. It was peaceful. They weren't breaking the law. They were following law, because in America, we are about law and order. At least we always have been. And we try to be. Check out what was happening at Virginia State. I mean, these people deserve a cell. I don't care if they're 18 or 80. They deserve a cell, and they need to go find out how criminals should be treated. Just keep looking at this.
That's unreal. It still never astounds me that these kids go to these campuses, and a lot of them are white, and they're all wrapped up in the Arab garb, and they've got, did you see some of them had goggles on and masks on? It's like, are you mentally ill here? I mean, I know that you're hiding, and you don't want some of you don't want your mommy and daddies to see.
Yeah, they're cowards.
They're cowards.
If you're a man or a woman doing that, you're a coward.
You are.
And they're afraid, because some universities are now standing up to them, and by golly, holding them accountable for their illegal activity and action.
That's right.
Here's what happens. If you're doing something, they're all being warned. They're given warnings.
They are.
You have such and such time to leave. You're breaking a law. You are on private property. You cannot do this. And guess what? Just like the mob that went in and attacked, that went into the neighborhood. Who was that with the guns? The McCloskeys.
The McCloskeys, yes.
You don't want to say it. You don't want to admit it. You may not have liked, may it been overboard by the McCloskeys to point guns at people.
Mhm.
You can debate it. But what you can't debate is that mob was there illegally. That was private property.
That's right.
Private property. Colleges have private property. And they tell these people, you have such and such time to leave. And then they get despondent. They're like, screw you. We're going to do whatever we want.
That's
We're
right.
getting paid to do this or getting paid to do that. And it makes them feel important because their life isn't important enough. So they want to attack Jews and other people who are innocent.
Well, and this is the same thing that's going on. And we said this last week too. You know, they pick a cause every 4 years, right around election time. And this is the new cause because they want to make it sound like, and the people, it's not even these kids that are there. It's the paid protesters that are there to get these kids all riled up because they want something to happen before the next election. Some people think I'm exaggerative when I say this, but they would like another whole shutdown. They can't do COVID again. So if they can make people scared enough that they don't go vote, that's what they'll do. Now, on the other hand, I'm hearing people say, okay, this is all going to die down, you know, maybe in 2 weeks because the college campuses are going to be closed. Well, I don't think it's going to die down. It's just going to turn into another facet. And you're going to see it in a city near you.
Well,
I mean, that's exactly what's happening. Like, even though it happened in the state of Missouri that, say, WashU handled this very well, they're still fearful of their graduation coming up, and they put fencing all around their college because they know it's coming at graduation. And I have a daughter that's graduating this Friday, and my husband and I are prepared to tell our kids there's going to be protesters there. There just is.
but where? Graduating where?
She's graduating from UMSL.
Okay.
So, and I don't know that there'll be the big things that other bigger colleges are, but they're going to be there. They're already being warned they're going to be there.
I hate seeing the video, and I just wish I wish there was a way we could all get along. But remember, this is all hyped up from people who are liberals and are giving money to Joe Biden.
That's right.
Isn't it interesting? None of the money that supports these groups or causes are coming from conservative causes. None of it. Isn't it amazing when Joe Biden comes out, few people show up, and they're certainly not about America. When Donald Trump goes out, he's condemning all of this that's happening on campuses. And there are massive groups of people, hundreds, if not thousands of people chanting USA. It's simple to see. It's simple to see. America's fighting for its identity.
Well, and they want our identity to change. These paid actors and these paid rioters, as we talked about last week, they are trained to go in and wreak havoc on whatever it is, whether it's Ferguson, whether it's BLM. Now it's this whole and I'm going to call it pro Middle Eastern garbage. It's gotten beyond just, oh, we love the Palestinians and it's, oh, Hamas. It's gotten into the point that it's no longer on these campuses, let's just hate the Jews and we just, love the people from Hamas. It's people of brown color, let's hate the white people. That's what it's become.
Hey, Joe, do we have like a ding, 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 or a winner like that or anything like that sound? Do we have any of that kind of sound? If you can find it, every time I see or Lizzie sees a great post on our People's podcast or on our People's platform, we need to give it like a ding, 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 ding.
We
ding.
do. We
don't see all the time.
There you go.
I love
there. I like it. Right
okay.
there.
Can we do that again one more time? Trish Jenkins. Why aren't these rioters at the border?
Amen. Trish. Ding, 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 ding.
But on a serious note, they're not at the border.
Yeah.
Because America is under attack.
That's right.
And these young, stupid kids and the people who go in and win them over with peer pressure.
That's right.
Are out there doing what they're doing, thinking that they are better than they are, that their voice matters. You're not that important. I'm sorry. Get over yourself.
Yeah, that is correct.
I like that too.
I like that too.
That is correct. And that's true. These dumbass kids, they need significance. You know, they're not in a fraternity. They're not in a sport. They're not hanging out with friends. Whenever you see these protesters, once the police actually take their masks off and they talk to them, these are kids that literally have no life and they want some significance. That's all this is. It's these kids that,
oh dear God,
they're just dumbasses.
Donna says, I read that there's a new strain of the vid called Flirt. What is that legit? Chris says they're trying to push the bird flu scare now in the news.
Yeah, they
Big
are.
breaking story
Uh-huh.
of the first mammal to human case reported.
That's
People don't fall for the bullshit, according to Chris.
right.
Yeah, who knows? We know what the news cycle is going to do. Bought and paid for.
That's right.
Ultra liberal, unless it's, you know, Fox Newsmax, OAN. Everything else is pretty much crap. It is.
Because they're telling you that tomorrow you're going to die from cicadas or the bird flu. So just give up your life, Vic, because one of those two things are going to get you.
From Robert, we appreciate you guys jumping on the chat line. By the way, you can catch us on several platforms. Like, subscribe, share the show. That's how we continue to grow. On X, you can make comments. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Cloud Hub. And of course, we go to all the usual audio platforms right after the show, about 20 to 30 minutes after. Trish calls them distraction tactics.
They really
Robert says the University of Texas learned Tuesday that of the 79 people arrested on their campus last Monday, 45, well over half, had zero affiliation with UT Austin.
That's exactly right.
Thank you, University of and by the way, Texas got on the stuff quick last week. And people can talk about Austin being liberal, and yes, it can be a liberal town, but it's still Texas.
Correct.
It's still Tejas, my brother. And the police got on it quick. They shut down the crap. So remember, over half of those arrested during the riots at the University of Texas last week weren't even students, had no association. So these are paid actors by Soros and other funders of Joe Biden. It's not just us saying it, it's legit. And they're not lying about it. All they want to do is talk about Trump monitoring women's cycles and making up ugly, gross, stupid stuff because they can't talk about policy.
Right.
They want to talk about J6, and which was fabricated by the left as well.
Yeah.
With their fake committees that didn't have one legitimate Republican or conservative on. Nancy Pelosi chose two turncoats. They want to talk about these things because they can't talk policy. There's no policy to talk about. So let's try to rip Donald Trump and make up court cases. That's why I feel bad for people on the left. I really do, because they're lost. And the feeling must be just horrible to deal with every day.
Yes, it has to be, because
I mean, they literally get up in the mirror and they look at themselves and must say, my name is Harvey and people like me. My name is Harvey and people like me. By golly, my name is Harvey and people love me.
No,
I mean, they have to.
They have to be doing that. No, Harvey.
There's no way they can get up and look in a mirror and legitimately vote.
They don't. They don't. There's something wrong with them. Like I said, if they really genuinely think that they are Harvey the nerd that has no significance and he's a misfit, or there's somebody getting paid, there's no other way right now that they would be any other way.
It's not just at Texas. Look at the people. They're coming out, starting shit. They're paid. They're coming out because this is an attack on America. We're not trying to be crazy. Oh, how dare attack on America, blah, blah. People, if you pay attention, it's out there. Once again, people show you. These news cycles show you. You can't look at it from the surface. You have to dive deep. That's what we try to do and bring to you Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. here on canceltheshow.com. It's not getting any better.
Well, and the worst part of all this, it's one thing if it's BLM and they're dumb and they really think it helps black causes. But this is actually
BLM. What?
Well, I mean, like today,
I didn't think BLM's involved in anything.
They're not, but it's the same people.
The same kind of concept.
They pay. And I said, it's one thing if it's BLM.
Yes, they're paid actors.
That's right. And now, but it's gotten worse in the fact that these are now, okay, you're not trying to indoctrinate the kids. You're trying to, we hate America. We hate America is what this is all about. They've now exposed themselves. They were doing it little by little by little and using different tactics. Now they're full blown, we hate America.
Anything and everything you can possibly throw against the wall and get to stick is what they're trying to do.
That's right. we need to send them. So if they just love Palestine so much, like the guys that are like, Allah is gay. I saw one over the weekend. He's like, Allah is gay. I would love to send, and he was Middle Eastern. I would love to send that Middle Eastern gay guy back to Palestine and see if we ever see him.
Yeah, but you have the transgender and many in the gay community as well trying to say Jesus was gay too, and all this just blasphemous crap.
It's totally blasphemous stuff.
I mean, I've seen it. People, but you know what? That's their First Amendment right to say whatever the hell they want. And then you can deal with your maker and everybody else how you want. And someday you'll meet him. And
well, if you wear that shirt about Allah is gay and you go to the Middle Eastern, you're going to meet your maker a lot faster.
Well, Pam says, Vic, how do we know that it's not BLM? I guess I don't, but it's the same
group.
But it's the same people.
It is the same
that are on the payroll.
It is. It is.
I can't say that with any fact, but I could see how that would work.
If you research it and you, like what I was talking about earlier, the Open Society Foundation, you'll see that that's the same foundation funding the same trainers all the way back from like 2012. You can research that. It is the same.
Cause friction, cause chaos.
Yes.
Cause division in America, however you see fit. Just get America fighting, keep their mind off of the things that are important.
Like the border, and do what we need to do. They want us to be shocked. That's right, Gene.
They want us to feel as if, oh, well, it doesn't matter what we do. We shouldn't pay attention. And then people just go on their ways.
They just go on their ways.
And then we're sitting in the hot water that's turned on hot. Feels decent now. Yeah, maybe it's getting a little hot, but we're going to be fine. And before you know it, our asses are boiled in a pot of boiling water and we can't get out and we're stuck.
Yeah.
Roland says, I personally think BLM isn't that bad. Not anymore. And that's coming from
there's no,
and
that's right.
Roland's a black man, just so people understand. They're not anymore, but at one time they were.
Right. And it's in comparison too. I mean, it's each time it gets worse. Each time. And the college students they recruit are different types of college students. And the fact that one was for black rights, now this is for basically Middle Eastern rights.
We gotta get you on the show sometime, Roland.
He does need to get on.
So I can get you humor.
But I do agree with him that it is getting worse each time. It is.
University of Michigan. There's no college that deserves more hell than that college. Now, keep in mind, I have a lot of friends who go to the University of Michigan. Yes. Can it be a great school? Absolutely, it can be. But it's also the #1 school for taking people outside of this country. It's also considered to be one of the most liberal colleges in all America, with separate graduations for transgenders and all kinds of things. It'd blow your mind. They are open to everything that is against America. They're open to all kinds of ideas. And I'm speaking freaking truth. I covered the university for a long time. They are extremely liberal, extremely. That does not mean in that massive place there are not great people and great things going on. But they are ultra, 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 ultra liberal.
That's right.
They will take students from the Middle East who are not close to being the same as students in their own state with 4.0 grade point averages and 30s on their ACT, can't get into that school over people from the Middle East. They will take a Middle Eastern almost every single point of the time.
Every single time.
So over the weekend, they got a little bit of a taste of what they kind of are putting together, talking about protesting, because now these protesters, paid actors by the Democratic funders, they're going out, they think, you know what? We're going to go ruin people's graduations. We told you last week.
That's right.
USC canceled graduation because they're, we're worried. Or it was UCLA. We're worried about bad actors. Well, look what happened at the University of Michigan over the weekend. I mean, look at it.
And just like earlier, we had talked about this also last week, that these same kids that are graduating right now in 2024 are the same ones that did not have a graduation in 2020 because they locked us all down. And so now here's 2024. They're either not having a graduation in a few cases, or they're having this crap. And like Joe Lynette, he deserves the ding ding buzzer. He looked at the photos and the videos of the protesters from over the weekend and recognized many of them as the same people who were protesting in Ferguson, Mike Brown, Jason Stockley, George Floyd, and all the other protests here in the area. And they're also at these graduations too.
Thank
Yep.
you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Funny how these university protests are happening right at graduation.
That's right.
Mhm. Also, the other situation, last week it was UCLA who said that they were canceling graduation because they're like, we're worried what may happen. Well, over the weekend, a friend of mine who has association with USC, the other big university in Southern California, said that they're going to cancel graduation as well because of all of the nonsense that's going on. And from that standpoint, it's very interesting. USC attorneys and the administration are now very scared, extremely scared that now what's going to happen is class action lawsuits from students who paid pretty much what are small fortunes to attend USC, and then they don't get their graduation. And this is a legitimate thing. My God, I hope you people, if you're a student and your graduation is canceled, find a great attorney, a personal injury attorney like David Gregory.
Yep.
Gregory for Missouri.com. He is legal in several states. He was 7 for 7 when it came to getting people their job back. He is the super conservative attorney, getting their job back when they were fired because they refused to get the cupcake. Get yourself an attorney like Dave or somebody like that if you know of somebody, because these colleges are in some serious fight. Now, they'll try to claim that there's some sort of issue where they're not allowed to have a graduation. But now it almost seems as if they're doing this and it only builds for the bad actors.
That's right.
Like they're in unison together. So USC canceling graduation. Now USC, they canceled graduation. They literally did as well because of the protesting. I would find myself an attorney very fast.
Yes.
Very fast.
You absolutely have to, because it is just so unfair. Like Mike Elam saying on the chat line that we feel sorry for these kids. It's the same kids because it happens to coincidentally be a presidential year. These kids didn't have graduation. Now they're getting wrecked. Or somebody on the chat line said too that they went to Lindenwood, which is a local area, and they were scared sitting there thinking something was going to happen, but it didn't.
Nothing happened at Lindenwood, thank God.
Thank God. Probably because it's in St. Charles County where most of the officials, including Mike Elam, are badasses and who don't put up with this stuff.
Well,
they don't put up with it.
But we
Speaking
can't.
of that, Mike Elam is going to be running for county executive.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Friend of the show, Mike.
Yep,
congratulations.
yep,
We'll have Mike come on.
absolutely.
We'll interview him as well.
Absolutely. And he knows.
But we
what's going
can't
on.
call Lindenwood some non-liberal university.
It's very liberal now.
I'm just going to
It's
tell you.
very liberal.
I'm not trying to be.
It is.
I'm trying to rain on the parade. I'm glad that nothing happened there, but don't think for a second that Lindenwood has all of a sudden become some sort of constitutional university.
It is not. And the people there sending their kids are aware it's not, but it's local.
I don't know if they are.
I think a lot of the parents are, but it's the kids that go there.
It might be a great value. It might be a great value for what you get. I'm not trying to be mean.
Yeah, but no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. If you're sending your kid to Lindenwood to think it's in our county, that nothing's going to happen. But those liberal kids know our county is going to handle it different than maybe St. Louis County or somewhere in Detroit or somewhere in Chicago is going to handle it.
Well, once again, this is very simple. Let's just remember, you know how you break up a riot? You pop a few cans of tear gas.
Yep, that's it. That's all you got to do. Bye-bye.
We already saw what happens. The cockroaches scatter. That was a great comment last week that we had. And they leave. They leave very fast.
That's right.
The other thing that's happening, as we've said, and we got one case in point, obviously University of Texas, over half the people arrested had no affiliation with Texas. Okay.
Correct.
So if you take that example out, and I would feel very confident in saying this, if you build that example out, that's probably what's happened at most of these colleges. Okay, fine. The bad actors who are paid, as we talk about. So with that being said, You go, yeah, I agree, Chris. Chris says there's only a handful of universities and colleges that aren't ultra liberal. But
That's
guess
right.
what? You see kids fighting back.
Mhm.
We showed
I
you what
love
they
it.
were doing at Alabama. We showed you what was happening at Ole Miss. We showed you what was happening at Florida State.
That's right.
All it takes are you know how it only takes a few bad apples to ruin something? Guess what?
Yes.
It only takes a few heroic actions
That's right.
or the actions of a few people to change that narrative back around.
Mhm.
Hell, how do you think this whole country was founded? Think about those when we talk about Civil War. We talk about those who wanted to make things happen. Once again, the same thing that can happen from a negative standpoint can happen from a positive standpoint.
Mhm.
But people are like, oh, I don't want to offend anybody. You know, I don't want to talk religion. And I don't want to talk. No, you have to. You
Mhm.
just do. Or at least to some, because all it takes is somebody to pick up that flag and start running
That's right.
into the situation.
Mhm.
I think of Mel Gibson and The Patriot.
Yes.
It
Yes.
takes somebody who's willing to do that to encourage others.
Yeah.
Life is so interesting like that. In whatever situation it is, it takes that person, forgive the gross analogy, but it's something that's willing to jump on the grenade
That's exactly right.
and push something forward from a positive standpoint. Because I can tell you this, there are certainly people who are willing to, quote, throw those grenades to try to ruin this country
Mhm.
and destroy every part of the American fabric that it's become over
That's right.
the time that we have been who America's been.
Mhm.
This is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe running the boards as well. Appreciate you guys jumping onto the chat line as well. Of course, you can find us on X, on Rumble, on YouTube, Facebook, and Cloud Hub. Of course, we go as well to the audio platforms after the show. It's just a matter of talking about it, pushing it out. But once again, all of the polling shows that an overwhelming majority of Americans do not. I think it's over 80%. You get over 80% with any sort of polling. My God,
Mhm.
they don't want to see this on college campuses. And then you find out that about a half of them aren't even real students. So once again, it all goes out. But you know how you take care of it? Tear gas.
Tear gas.
You get out there, and then you know how else you take care of it? You rip those damn masks off kids' face after you arrest them, and then you hold them accountable. If they
Yes.
are associated with the university,
Mhm.
then you know what you do? You don't let them go to graduation.
That's right.
You
don't let 'em
you
go.
have to, without deterrence in life, you're going to have chaos. You'll have anarchy. And we really feel so bad for this rioter from Arizona State University because she decided to break the law, show her anti-Jewish hate. And now, oh, gee, guess what? She's being reprimanded. She's
Oh.
being disciplined. She's being punished for her actions.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed. I'm being restricted from a lot of things right now, that I didn't expect to be, for standing up for something that I believe in. You know, I have family coming in who I have to let them know to, you know, not come to my graduation ceremonies. I am glad that there is a guarantee that my courses will be taken care of, so I don't have to worry necessarily about my graduation requirements and the fact that I will earn my degree as I have spent the past 4 years doing. But I'm just disappointed. I mean, I'm a 2020 high school grad, so I wasn't able to walk then.
I mean,
And so, you know, here it is. I'm not able to walk now.
Knowing, you know, what you know now, and, you know, like you said, you were standing up for a cause, would you do it again?
I mean, yeah, I would. I was doing what I believed was right, and I still believe it to be right. I would stand up for the cause again, even if it means something negative to me, because like, the cause is, so much harm has been done to all of those people already. I am safe. I am fine. I might not graduate, and that might harm future job prospects and stuff like that, but I'm not like in physical danger. I'm not constantly worried about being hurt or being forced from my home or anything like that. I would absolutely stand up again and protest again.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Good job, Joe.
You mean you're not in physical danger like the poor Jewish students that you and your others are putting in harm's way?
Right.
Throwing feces and not letting them get past lines of people, pushing, hurting, punching, beating, as we saw last week. Yeah, you're not in any physical danger. But what about those Jewish students that you've attacked who haven't done anything to you or the others who are coming out?
Mhm.
And from the chat line, cry me an effing river.
That's right.
F-A-F-O, little girl. Guess what? You deserve everything you got. And if you did it again, good. If you say that you would break the law again, try it.
Do
Keep
it
breaking
again.
the law and watch what happens to you. And watch the probation you get after your first one go up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and somebody's saying, is that her dog's bandana on her head? And the bandana alone is not going to get her hired at some Fortune 500 company. And if somebody sees that, even if they're liberal, they don't want somebody that represents the cause going, it's like, but that's who your protesters are. That's the ones, it's not necessarily the paid protesters. They're doing it and they're not dumb. Actually, they're doing it because they get money and they're evil, but they're taking these dumb, kids with bandanas on their heads and saying, I would do it again. And they don't even they really don't know what they're doing. And you need to tell your college kids, girl, this isn't even our fight. Stop this. And she looks ridiculous. She really did. I mean, that's embarrassing. And Terry's saying, I hope she is not a communication major.
Stupidity at its best. Fake ass tears. I guarantee employers will see her
they
and
will
think twice about hiring her. Well, it depends on the type of employment. Soon she will be saying, welcome to Starbucks. What can I get you?
That's exactly.
You guys got me started on these.
I love
Good.
it. I love
It works.
it, Joe.
It adds to
This
the
is
show.
great. This is great, Joe. I love it. And but that was the best thing.
The protesters, mostly the ones that are, they all do look like they're cut and sound like they're cut from the same cloth.
They do.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, they all look the same. They really do. They all look like is what I've said before, is they all look like there's something mentally off about them. Some people,
and that's not us being mean.
No,
I
it
agree.
isn't. It isn't. There's something not. They're the vulnerable. They're the ones that didn't fit in anywhere. They're the ones that maybe are not as smart. They might be the kids, and this is not disrespectful at all. They might be the kids that had some reading disabilities or had somewhere where they didn't fit in somewhere else, or maybe their elevator didn't go all the way up to the 13th floor. I mean, it's the truth. It might be, but it's the truth.
Andrew says, I kept pointing out protesters to my parents this weekend at the zoo because they all look the same.
They do.
They have stupid buzzed half haircuts that are colored. Can't tell if they're boy or girl.
That's right.
They look dirty and lost.
Dirty and lost is
They look like they live in their mom and dad's basement and are into cosplay. I mean, these are just comments that are coming in. Once again, I know this is very difficult for people to understand. There is a way to protest. And then, of course, we saw last week some woman that might have been associated with BLM or saying, yes, it's good to break the law. Saying that's good to break the nothing wrong with breaking the law. If you need to be heard. This is the entitlement generation. DEI didn't earn it. I mean, and then when you have young, impressionable, dumb, immature, inexperienced kids, they can be led astray. And you start to see that.
And parents need to understand that about their kids. If you've got more than one kid, you know the kid, no matter how much you raised them. There's some of your children that have, for whatever reason, a little higher self-esteem that's not going to get into that. And then you might have a kid, maybe it's not even your own kid, maybe it's a nephew or whatever, that is just more gullible. Those are the ones you have to watch. It's the gullible kids. Maybe they're even smart, but they're gullible. That's the ones they're going to target.
From the chat line, what about the professors? I hope they all lose their degrees. Well, that's another way. Here's the thing. When you issue a deterrent, if somebody has broke the law, then obviously you have to charge them. And if you're going to do something to a student, not allow them to graduate, which we're starting to see, then clearly a professor who does know better, in my humble opinion, should be held to the full account of the law.
That's
And
right.
if that means losing a degree, if that means losing their position, then so be it.
Mhm.
We saw that kind of happen with Megan Green in St. Louis
Yes.
City Alderwoman. For some point in time, she's not allowed to have any contact with students
That's right.
at, I believe, at Washington University.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And I don't know how long it is. I never heard, but at least for the rest of the school year, she lost her adjunct position.
Yeah, protest, make the non-cool kids feel cool.
That is really
They
true.
all seem to be the same spoiled brats who just want to rebel against society because they're not happy in their own life.
Mhm.
They're not, and that's sad. That's
That is
another
sad.
that's another mental issue that needs to be taken care of, which we talk about mental health being so important. Now, keep in mind, I scream from the rooftops about mental health, but the problem is, like there are with a lot of things, because while things can be very simple in life, they can also be very gray. There are also too many people who say mental health and use it as an excuse, as
That's
a
right.
crutch,
Mhm.
as opposed to somebody who really isn't of mental illness and they just want an excuse.
Mhm. I agree. And think about that. We never heard in our high schools, at least I didn't back in the day, what anxiety was. Now they're teaching it in the schools. Well, if you do this, then that might give you anxiety. So here's your coping skills. The problem is the coping
Anxiety
skills,
is a real deal.
it is.
but-
I'm not saying it isn't, but they now put it as an excuse going to what you were
or
saying.
immediately run to that
Run to
option
that.
first.
That's right. That's right. And everybody is anxious about something. Something makes them nervous. But then you learn how to cope and deal through that, not use it as a crutch. Go get your crayons, sit in your safe place, and pop a pill. That's the solution today for most people.
Can't stand what's happening. SNL took a shot
Yeah.
at it
they
over
did.
the weekend. Once again, I don't watch it. People, I guess, do, or some people do. They tried to, I guess, make fun of what's happening at Columbia University.
Mhm.
So you saw this.
I did. I don't
And-
watch it either, but somebody sent me this clip and I thought, this is probably how a lot of the parents think. Watch it and see what you guys think.
I think it's just great, it's wonderful. Nothing makes me prouder than young people using their voices to fight for what they believe in.
Wow, that's very encouraging.
Alphonse, your daughter must feel so supported when she's out there.
What's that now? when whose daughter is out there?
At the protest.
No, man. You bugging. Alexis Vanessa Roberts better have her butt in class. Mhm. Let me find out she in one of them damn tents instead of the dorm room that I pay for.
Wait, I thought you were in favor of the student protest.
Brother, man, I am supportive of y'all's kids protesting. Not my kids. My kids know better. Shoot, Alexis Vanessa ain't crazy.
Well, Alphonse, your daughter attends Columbia. What do you think about the students that took over Hamilton Hall?
That's good for y'all's kids. But they ain't mine. That's all I'm saying. They ain't my kids. You feel me, Ryan?
Yes, I feel you, Alphonse. But tell me, with the rise in attendance in these protests, how does it make you feel to see the increase in police presence? Sarah, are you concerned about students being arrested?
Very concerned. I mean, one of my worst fears is my daughter getting thrown behind bars. This is a crucial time in her life, and I'd hate for her to have an arrest follow her forever.
Man, I ain't worried about 5-0. That is not my business. My business is Alexis Vanessa Roberts, okay? She ain't talking about no free this, free that, because I tell you what ain't free, Columbia.
Yeah, exactly. Columbia ain't free, and a lot of people paying for that kind of crap that's out there. So anyway, they did what they did with the skit. That's for y'all's people.
That's for
Meaning
y'all.
all you white privileged
Mhm.
Columbia University students to go out and protest and do everything that you want to do. Sarah says, I believe that anxiety is brought on by being unable to mentally deal with situations. Yeah, it can
Absolutely.
break out into several
Yeah.
different areas.
Absolutely.
Mike says protesters should have a hard time getting a job. Yeah, well, it's all about deterrence in life.
Yeah.
It's about deterrence. Same thing with crime. You get prosecutors, liberal prosecutors, by the way, not conservative ones, liberal prosecutors
Mm-hmm.
who aren't tough on crime. And then guess what? It continues to happen.
Yeah.
Because we know we can get away with this, we can get away with that, we can do whatever the truck we want to do. Zayadale says, Jews, this is the quote, Jews people need control their behave with other people somehow. Now, I have no idea what they were trying to say in English. Jews people, maybe they're trying to say Jewish people need to control their behavior with other people somehow.
There's somebody on YouTube that I don't know that this person is.
Joe, we also need a sound that goes the opposite way.
Like
sometimes. I mean, your opinions are welcome, but what do you back that up with?
That's
really?
right. And
really,
that's,
what have the Jewish students done in America?
Right.
Nothing. All we've been doing is showing videos for weeks of Jewish students being pushed, kicked, beaten, not allowed to enter class, not allowed to walk across campus, having all kinds of vile things thrown at them and said at them. And if they did that to the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah, pro-terrorist groups, and that's what they are, they're pro-terrorist groups, what would happen at that point? Let's just be real. Come on. Let's be mature. Let's be realistic about what's actually happening. The enablement needs to stop. Entitlement. It's 2024. All about kids, entitlement. I deserve this. I deserve that.
Yeah.
Ginny says, I keep thinking about January 6th. This is way worse. Well, of course it's way worse.
Way worse.
J6 was a show. It was a
all
skit.
Planned.
It was planned. And that's why the Democrats want to continue to talk about it, because they can't talk about policy with Donald Trump. They can't talk about issues with Donald Trump.
That's right. Well, and Joe Biden this weekend, or was it Friday, gave a Medal of Honor to Nancy Pelosi for her part in January 6th. I'm like, did I just hear that?
Of course you will.
Yes, but of course we did. And she's the one that would not, she called off the National Guard that Donald Trump had. And then now she's being awarded for the safety that she had there by putting all these J6ers in jail.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
So give us a break on that one.
And if Donald Trump is back in office, all of that crap, that farce will end very fast.
That's right.
And it should. Chris says, Joe needs the Billy Madison quote. We are all now dumber for listening to you. And that was when they were in the Mental Olympics at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy Madison tried to talk on a subject he had no idea what he was talking about. And we were all told we are now dumber. I will use that quote from time to time here. Unfortunately, it's mostly when we hear a liberal try to make a case for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Kevin says, Lizzie, I saw that. You can't make this BS up. When
You can't make
we're going to give Nancy Pelosi an award, just like we're going to give, Dr. Fauci Fauci an award as well.
I mean, you can't. You can't. And then, he gives awards to most people that we would never even associate during the week. But then he gives one, and excuse me, maybe Kevin, you remember the person's name. He gave one to a swimmer that was really deserving of it. It was a female swimmer, probably the best female swimmer of all time, according to Joe Biden. But then at the end of it, he literally said that she was next going into the, quadriplegic Olympics. She's not a quadriplegic. I mean, I was like, we cannot make this stuff up with our president. He is that gone. He is so far gone.
Usually when Kamala speaks.
Yeah.
According to Glenn from that standpoint.
Well, maybe she identifies as a quadriplegic.
Joe, we love to see you when you talk.
You want to see me. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think she does, but Kevin is saying maybe it was Leah Thomas. Maybe she qualifies for that.
Yeah, maybe. The chat line is amazing.
They are. They're just cracking me up.
We appreciate you guys coming on the chat line every day when you do the things that you do. Very, very, very interesting. Going back to, we got a comment too here as we continue on with the show. We got a comment who said, Civil War, when we were talking about 4 out of 10 Americans feel as if civil war would break out because of all the support for Donald Trump if somehow he did not win the election. So we got LSA class of 2000. Civil war with who, guys? People are fine with the dips and valleys of Western democratic process and a mob of people in silly hats whose unbridled devotion to unbridled devotion to a budget Jim Jones is baffling as it is sick.
That's a mouthful right there.
Okay.
And that's my fear. You would think that people would revolt. I'm not ever advocating for war. I don't want to see bloodshed right here on our soil. I don't. And you would think, as many Trump supporters as there are, there would be civil war if our election, this is not even about Donald Trump, our election is stolen twice because we see what's happening. So I'm seeing more people rise, but you know what? I don't think enough will. I don't.
Spock also says, I think those numbers are off. 4 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's significantly more.
I hope so. I hope so.
I don't want a damn civil war.
I don't want a war either. I don't think there will be one because I don't think enough people
these new
will rise.
laws they are coming up with, I think, will be the catalyst. I don't know what specific laws.
Well, I see a lot of badass patriots. That's the circle that I roll in. And so most everyone that is in my circle would get up and revolt. But once I step out of my circle and a different arena of people, say at a track meet where there's all different kinds of people, or a volleyball tournament, all these things that were this weekend, they're not in tuned to what we're talking about here unless they tune in. And a lot of them will tune in and go, is that really happening? Is that really happening? Because they don't watch the news. They just live their lives. So if a civil war came, they're not prepared. And that's a big portion of our people that they vote Republicans. They don't necessarily like Donald Trump, but they like his policies and they'll vote for him over Joe Biden, but they don't have the cojones to go pick up a weapon and fight for our country.
Glenn says it would be over in a flash. Our side would win very fast.
You would think so.
Would people in the military turn against Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Jake Sullivan?
I think a lot of them would.
And Kamala Harris. I do too.
I think a lot of them would. Most of our military is a badass. But then I go back to what Eric Wright said to us the other day, that our military is not what it used to be. And he doesn't even know, because it's such a hard thing to comprehend what's happening to our military, would even have his own sons go in there. I wouldn't advocate.
Well, one thing's for sure, if we don't, we're definitely doomed.
We have
we're
to.
Doomed.
We have to. We have to.
And Glenn's talking about the transgenders and that community coming up against the pro-Trump community. They'd run through those whatever they are very fast.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
It would be over very fast.
They might try to, somebody's on here saying, I think it's Glenn, they'll bitch slap you with one of those pool foam noodles. That's all they're gonna do.
Get away
from me, as they're flinging.
We're the best.
Yes. That's right. And somebody saying, Todd saying, don't worry, Biden is due to speak to Israel on the phone today. So we're all going to be fine after the phone call, because he's going to tell them to stop and don't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we continue to show what's happening. Well, Joe Biden, whenever he goes out, something bad happens. It just does. We love it because it's great fodder for us. It's sad that he's the president, so we balance the comedy that he provides.
Yes.
But we also balance, I don't know, the depression of thinking that this man was selected and placed in office and is where he is, doing what he's doing, saying what he's saying, not coherent, not understanding anything about life. Okay, what happened in this next video? We want your opinions on the chat line. You can go to X, you can go to Facebook, you can go to YouTube, Rumble, CloudHub, whatever. Watch this video. What happened to Joe Biden over the weekend? And the worst part is his wife in the background, where she's the enabler to let this man continue to go out and just make a mockery of himself. How is he standing? What is he doing? He's like, what?
He looks like he pooped his pants. And that's why, if you look at Joe Biden and she walks away like, oh, he did it again.
He did it again. He shat himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oops, I did it again.
Yep.
I shat myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Joe Biden. Look, I mean, he looks constipated and confused for Robert. Like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
somebody's making some soft serve.
I mean, I used to watch my little kids when they were toddlers.
Yes.
And I knew I was going to be cleaning a diaper when they look like this.
I was thinking the same thing of my granddaughter that's not even 2. That's how she stands when she.
I shat myself.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Depends.
Sponsored by Depends. That's it. Joe Biden should be there's one of two things with Joe Biden.
Oh my God.
She should be ashamed of herself. But see, we're forgetting all the way back. She was their babysitter and she was having an affair with him. So she was not scrupulous from way back. So we already know that about her if anybody looks that far back. So part of me wants to go, shame on you, Jill, but that's who she is. She doesn't mind stealing somebody's husband. She doesn't care what's going on. Now she's probably so entrenched in the uniparty. This is what she has to do. But this can't be a fun life for her.
Todd says, I had that moment yesterday. It was Cinco de Mayo.
After too many tacos.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, maybe that's what happened. Maybe he was eating his tacos a little early.
Chris said 100% agree, Vic. He had the same look on his face when my kids were little. And I asked them if they had poop in their diaper.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what he looked like.
People, this isn't just somebody's grandpa.
This is the president of the United States, the president of the free world, Vic.
Oh my God.
Oh.
But I mean, like I said, we balance depression with humor on Joe Biden whenever he goes out. This is the kind of stuff that happens. It never stops. It never stops. And thank God, Donald Trump is calling issues to it. Now, Donald has a big week. I'd like to go to his quote first. So he put this out on True Social about Joe Biden. And more people need to call it out. And thank God, Donald Trump, in the midst of being a leader and calling out everything that he is calling out regarding the protesting, the riots, the evil to Jewish students and those who are supporting Jewish students, he also had time to put this out. And we show you his comment, and it is a long one. And here's Donald Trump with his comment. We'll go ahead and put that up. I guess there we go. Okay. First of all, this election, actually, Joe, you put up the wrong one, buddy.
Okay, but while we're talking,
there we go.
Oh, here we go. Okay, but did you know,
Joe, you got to wake up, dude. You had a long weekend.
Yeah, but there's
I couldn't
two.
tell which one it was.
You can tell which is which. But
Okay,
you know what?
Before I say it, you want to say?
Yeah, it's about this comment. There was just something that came down that these two comments that you're going to be reading here, that the judge said President Trump is going to go to jail by, I think the time is 2:50 or 2:45 Eastern Standard Time if he doesn't take these down.
Wait a minute. Could you repeat that again?
Yes.
And Joe, we'll go back to the other one, man. Just keep it there, and then I'll tell you when we go to the
keep them both
second
there.
one.
That if he doesn't take these Truth Social comments that he put down over the weekend by like 2:50, I don't know if it's Central Standard Time or Eastern Central, whatever standard time it is, that he will go to jail.
And why is that? He brings up, okay, well, we'll
read it and you'll see why. Read it.
Which judge? Merchan?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Merchan.
Okay, here we go. All right. Here's the comment that Donald Trump made. And I love this, and it needed to be said. He writes, quote, "The primary reason for all of these terrible protests is crooked Joe Biden. He is unable to talk," which we show you all the time, "unable to reason, unable to put two simple sentences together, unable to even climb 3 steps to a helicopter or the main stairs to Air Force One. In other words, his mind and body are shot." He continues. He is also and has always been a very dishonest man, a Manchurian candidate of sorts, receiving money for no apparent reason, and that's been proven to be true thanks to the House Oversight Committee. For no apparent reason from other countries, Ukraine and China, I'm adding that myself, and blatantly prosecuting his political opponent in an attempt to win the presidential election of 2024. Now, he goes on to say, in addition to this is election interference only used by third world countries. Now we have the protest, and crooked Joe Biden doesn't know what to do. Next will be World War III and everything else. Exclamation point, by the way. We are a nation in serious decline, a failing nation, but we will not be a failing nation much longer. 4 years ago, we were and this is all caps, a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. MAGA 2024, end of quote.
Mm-hmm. And the recent thing that came up from the Associated Press is the judge in Donald Trump's hush money trial sanctioned him Monday morning, meaning today, for violating his gag order for a second time. Now, they've already charged him $9,000, which last Friday he just said is like chump change, or he called it Trump change. So it was no big deal. That's what he called it. He literally called it Trump change. So then Judge Merchan fined the former president today $1,000 and warned that going forward, additional violations could result in jail time. Prosecutors had accused Trump of 4 violations, but the judge only concurred with 1. And it goes on and on to say if he doesn't take the truth comments down, he could face jail time.
So here's what you do. If you're a supporter of Donald Trump and you want that, you go to Truth Social, you get that, you post it all over the effing place.
Correct.
And you continue to get them, because what he said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with what he posted.
It's factual. It's factual.
And can be proven and has been proven.
Yes. Yes.
Todd says Trump is just dying for this judge to put him in jail.
I think Todd's right. I think he's going to keep pushing the envelope for 2 reasons. One, Donald Trump can't help himself. He wants the truth to come out. He can't help himself. It's going to come out. But I think he knows if he goes to jail, that'll be the beginning of some sort of a revolt or maybe a civil war.
Greg says, why does he have to take it down? That's called campaigning.
That is called, but they don't want him to campaign.
Jeannie says it's true. Todd says 100%. That's what they did last time as well.
That's right.
What is being done to Donald Trump by a Democratic judge with Democratic ties with him and his daughter, and the money that he has put up for Democratic candidates, it's insane. And of course, we're just calling it out, just like Donald Trump is. It's all part of the deep state, which Donald Trump has put up. Jailing Trump would only amp his popularity even more.
Correct.
Especially when he has done nothing worth that situation.
That's right.
Nothing.
But
then, of course, there'll be Democratic pundits and Democratic sources who are being paid or on a payroll somewhere. Oh, Donald Trump is the worst guy ever.
And
these poor people, we feel bad for them, and we're trying to help them however we possibly can, but they've lost their freaking mind. Those quotes by Donald Trump, are you kidding me? There's nothing. They want to muzzle him and not let him say a freaking word. And everything he said about Joe Biden is 100% true. And what's happening to Donald Trump is election interference.
It is election interference.
Black and white election interference.
That's right. Because if look at all the things that happened on the Democrat side, so many different things. We could talk about them from Russia to whatever.
We're about facts, not feelings.
It is facts.
It's facts first. We'll get to your personal feelings later.
That's right.
This country has no chance unless we deal in facts first. Facts.
That's right.
Not feelings, facts.
And Tanya's saying something on here that I've been saying that not everybody agrees with. Apparently Tanya does. We just need to pray that they don't unalive him, because if they can't get him in jail, there's nothing else left. They have pushed the envelope so far. We will see a Kennedy situation. Or look what they tried to do to Ronald Reagan.
Not going to happen.
Well, it might not happen, but they're going to want to do that. That's all they have left. You watch.
I can't see that happening.
That's because you don't want to see it.
When you take a big step back and look at the big picture of what's going on, it's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
And Americans, that's why if Americans just had a moment to sit back and let things soak in, I think the majority, the overwhelming majority, even more so now, would see what's happening.
Yeah, I do. And people
and these cases.
Yes. People on our chat line are worried about that. If they can't get him in jail, they want him to shut up. They will put him in the ground. They will bury him literally, not figuratively, if they can't get him muzzled. That is going to happen. And people know now what happened to Kennedy. People know now what happened to, even being the shooting of Ronald Reagan and all these other people are shooting at all of our presidents. It's the ones that really loved our country. Think about the last person that really loved our country. Who was that? Ronald Reagan, Kennedy. One's a Democrat. One was a light Republican. I will call Ronald Reagan a light Republican. Donald Trump is actually...
I'm not going to say that Bill Clinton didn't love America.
I don't know. He loved cigars more than he loved America.
I don't know. He loved himself more than he loved
You're
America.
right. I don't. Yeah.
I mean, what other country could you do what he did in?
Good point.
I guarantee he loved America.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's part of the regime to take America down now.
I don't think he gives a shit.
You don't think so?
He just wants he wants to be able to
He just wants to get away from
he
Hillary.
like he just wants to have some fun.
Yeah.
You
Well,
just
I
wanna
don't blame him. We all want to just have fun.
Diddle some interns, you know.
That's that's all I think. I think it started the first guy that I really saw that hated America was Barack Obama.
Well, there's no doubt about
And he
that.
said it publicly, but he said it in such a slick manner that everybody believed him, and he didn't think that he was that bad because I'm Barack Obama.
Mhm.
I mean, because he's such a slick orator. He was the first president to absolutely effing hate America, and he told
Well, we
us,
know that true.
and
He told us
everything
that.
he was doing.
Yeah.
This is not a Christian nation.
Mhm.
You know, all you white people,
You're bad.
yeah, you're racist.
Even though he's half white, but all you white
yeah,
people are bad.
and refused to accept his mom, who raised him,
Mhm.
not his black dad.
Yeah.
All his black dad did was provide sperm,
That's
and
exactly
that
right.
was it.
But I do absolutely think there is a connection there when people understand that Barack Obama's stepdad was best friends with the old George Bush. They are all connected. And you might be right that maybe they didn't hate America, but they were still doing nefarious things that led up to Barack Obama. And I couldn't understand when Donald Trump got elected why the fellow Republicans or the former Republicans didn't side with Donald Trump. They didn't. They all sided with Barack Obama.
Well, as
They're part of it.
but as this case with Trump gets back in action,
Mhm.
you've got the Bragg case, but you also have now you've got the New York situation going on. It is very interesting because Trump and his attorneys are going after Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, who has made it his mission to put Trump in jail with no evidence and fake charges and all kinds of things. But now they've gone after his prosecutors. They have totally effed up. They have totally effed up, but the national media won't tell you. What have they done? Well, here was Trump's comments regarding it. He says, now deranged Jack has admitted this happened in a filing in front of Judge Cannon to what I have been saying. And this is regarding the documents case where Judge Cannon is the judge. That the illegal raid that happened on my home at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, Jack Smith and his team committed a blatant evidence tampering, and I do think this is going to come to light, by mishandling the very boxes they used as a pretext to bring the fake case. Trump posted this to his Trump social on Friday. This is what I think may have gotten him in trouble, is he not the comments about Joe Biden. I don't, unless you saw that, I don't know, because he really wasn't talking about his case. This is specifically related, but this is in Judge Cannon's court. I don't know what they could have possibly mentioned. I have no idea. I'm trying to figure this out right now. He said that these deeply illegal actions by the politicized persecutors mandate that this whole witch hunt be dropped immediately. End the boxes, hoaxes, MAGA 2024. What happened was that prosecutors admitted in a court filing on Friday afternoon, the Friday news drop. They tried to get it in there quick so that nobody would hear about it. That, quote, there are some boxes. These are the ones that were illegally taken, the raid, CNN flying over. Everybody was there at Mar-a-Lago. That there are boxes where the order of items within the box are in not the same order as the associated scans. That's a big effing deal. That is tampering at its highest level. The prosecutors had previously told the court that the documents were, quote, in the original intact form as seized, but they were not. They went through because they're dirty.
They are dirty.
And it's all to get Trump out of office,
Yes,
or
it
it's
is.
all to keep him from getting back into office. Then you have Trump fighting the DA Bragg in New York over that whole situation. It's all a joke. It's all of these things continue to happen.
That's right.
Over and over and over again. And if that wasn't enough, as we were told earlier in the show, as Robert told us out of Michigan, Alvin Bragg's former prosecutor, Mark Pomerantz, pleaded the fifth when he was asked by Matt Gaetz in Congress, quote, did you knowingly break any laws when investigating Donald Trump? That should be a simple no, right?
You would think so.
Of course I didn't break any laws. No, that's what you're going to say. But is that what Pomerantz said? Nope. Once again, we give you facts, not feelings on the show. And that hurts some feelings which is why the show isn't for everybody, but we're always going to be about truth.
That's
And
right.
if you don't want to hear truth, then find somewhere else to listen.
Right, because we're
Find
going
somewhere
to
else
tell
to
it.
go, but we're going to say it whether you want to hear it or not. And that goes against Republicans and Democrats.
We do. We call out plenty of Republicans on this show. We absolutely do. And
Did you knowingly break any laws? Did you knowingly break any laws when investigating Donald Trump? I plead the fifth. That's what Alvin Bragg's former prosecutor, Mark Pomerantz. I plead the fifth.
Yeah, if the answer is no, it's no.
it's just no. You would just say
Did you
no.
violate anyone's constitutional rights while investigating Donald Trump? He asked, Matt Gaetz asked a second time. He said, I plead the fifth. Once again, that is DA Alvin Bragg's former prosecutor, Mark Pomerantz, who the case was built around against Donald Trump.
They want to shut him up so much. Gary's saying on the chat line that he thinks Trump had the documents to burn both Obama and Biden. And right now, the fifth in this case equals the answer of a yes.
Once again, that means yes.
That means
At that
yes.
point in the testimony of this was an actual fair trial. The judge should have ended the case right there after the testimony went public. Kevin says sleazy, sleazy, sleazy. Yes, again, oh America, this is what's happening. It's all fake. And at the end of the day, it's all going to be fake. They'll find him guilty in New York of something,
They
somehow, some way.
They won't
They
stop
can't
till they
lose.
get-
Yeah, they can't lose that media battle. They just can't.
No.
This was all predestined to happen. Trump knows it. He's out in front of it. It's all going to happen that way. Was that what the documents are? I don't know exactly what you're asking.
I think a lot of people are thinking on the chat lines that the documents, they want to discredit the documents, get rid of the documents, saying that the documents that Trump has were all something he shouldn't have had. But a lot of our people think they were documents that incriminate the Democrats, Obama, Biden's.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. And I tend to agree with them. They have some things. And so maybe Trump has some documents they don't want him to have, or maybe he's not supposed to have. I'll be the first one to admit, I wouldn't be surprised that Trump had documents that he's not supposed to have because he intends to take them down. That's what a lot of our listeners think. And they are scared to death that he will expose them. And he hasn't exposed them yet in the magnitude we all want him to. That's for sure. And like Todd's saying, those documents
will be gone. Of course,
they're probably already gone. They raided his home, and he probably had him in Mar-a-Lago, and they knew it. And a lot of this is, they all have documents. They all have things. Trump is not doing anything that any of the rest of them haven't done. The difference with Trump is Trump is not part of them. Trump is not part of the little glee club of Bush and Clinton and Obama and all that. He's not part of the club. He is for America. He's exposing them. He knows so much on them, and he's really refrained from saying it. He's been muzzled.
I'm sorry. I feel like he still has something, because there's
I
a
hope he
reason why
does.
they haven't unalived him yet.
That's correct.
He
That's
still
correct.
has something.
Yeah. I agree, because I definitely think that they would have unalived him already if he didn't have something, and they don't know where it is.
It's the only thing keeping him alive.
I
think.
agree.
I love this from our X account when I post, because I post during the show on X too. Because of the information we bring forward, he's like, oh, I forgot I was following this guy. It's been a while since he was in Detroit. Apparently he got fired from local news in another city for being a terrible person and a moron. And now he's trying to do some anti-woke thing. Abysmal, zero charisma, boring. Well, I'm glad
But here he is. I'm glad he's there, though.
Yeah, I'm glad that
With your lack of charisma.
Yeah. Well, he's just seen it on the posting,
Uh-huh.
but it's not on the show, so that's
Got
fine.
it. But I like that.
Yeah, of course.
I like that. I like when people come on and say how boring and
I'm
lack
glad
of
that we're
charisma you are,
boring
Vic.
and a moron and a terrible person.
Yeah. I'm glad that, because you know who's doing that. You know who somebody's you know it's some lefty in his basement crying a river that we're talking about, that they might unalive Donald Trump with your lack of charisma. Maybe if you would get
Love
up and
it.
jump on the couch like Tom Cruise did on Oprah's, maybe he'd like you then.
It's awesome.
I love it.
I love it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we just continue to do what we're going to do. We're going to continue to bring facts. We're going to continue to bring everything that we possibly can to the table to help Americans know truth, know facts, and know how to just be better people.
That's right.
And how to better associate, because we already know what's happening with media. You're not getting the full story. And we're going to continue to do everything that we possibly can. Kevin says, tell him for being a big fan.
Yeah, tell the guy,
course.
thanks for being. And you know, Joe, they want you to ring the bell for your comment, because the comment that you made, because a lot of our listeners agree with you. Ring the bell for yourself, Joe. They really do think he does. I do think he has documents. I hope he does. I don't care if it's against the law at this point, because these people are trying to take down our country. And I agree with you, Joe. They would have unalived him already. They don't know exactly what all he has. Yep.
I've been wondering what he's got this whole time, because I don't think they would have put up with anything this long.
I don't either. And it'd be look at all the people they unalive all the time. Look at even the Boeing execs. I'm not going to go on a Boeing, rampage, but all these people have unalived themselves. Right now, that is the thing that big corporate America and our government, our evil government does. Look at how many people we used to talk about all the time, how Hillary Clinton, anybody that went to a Clinton's, they were quickly unalived. Now the Obamas, you don't hear anything about the chef. And if you think that's not happening, you just don't want to. I don't want to think it. I don't want to think that's going on. But I say this often, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. I mean, that is what is happening. So you just keep on in your unsuave way there, Vic. You keep in your boring
I love it.
way.
I was texting with, I looked him up, and he is a him person.
Well, of course he is. Of course he is.
This is awesome. And he's a BLM guy.
Of course.
He's a trans and human rights for free Palestine. It doesn't take people will
I'm glad he's here.
No, people will, but he's not watching. He just saw my tweets.
Oh, he saw your tweets.
I tweet a lot in the show because we've been huge thanks to Elon Musk and his platform.
Yes.
And it's awesome. But it doesn't take very long to realize who these people are.
Yes.
And what they try to do. These people they're hateful.
They are hateful.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean.
Well, they're angry.
But the trans community is very angry. They have mental illness. Obviously, it's mental illness, and we're not trying to be mean. It is mental illness, and he's BLM, and he's for Palestine, and he's all for the writing.
Yeah.
And then it's not surprising to see somebody make a comment when they're trying to come after you like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it. They can't say what's wrong.
Shocker,
with the comments, Vic. They can't say what's wrong with it. They'll just say something about how you're boring or whatever. But I've noticed that since we've been talking about these protests, anyone that says anything against us about it, they don't say why. They just start name calling. That's it. They just name call.
It is interesting how that all comes together, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so interesting.
Yes.
You guys are, if you don't follow our way, then you're mean. If you don't do what we say, then you're mean.
Yes. And they started years ago that if you didn't agree with gay people, then you were intolerant. It was all this intolerant. And so then they preached tolerance for several years to condition people to be tolerant of everything. But then you know what? They're not tolerant at all. They're actually very hateful. And I'm not talking about gay people in general. I'm just talking about the regime that is pushing this narrative of tolerance when they're anything but.
There's so much crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the other thing that's going on now is Donald Trump's decision on a VP. I'm not that excited about it, but apparently
I'm very
our viewers and listeners are all excited about it.
I'm very excited about it because Trump only has 4 years and his successor is going to be more important than any other time because 4 years isn't enough to fix this problem. So I like when Mike Pence got picked and he was selected, Donald Trump didn't even really want him. He was selected. I was like, okay, I get it. They're trying.
Come on.
He was selected. Yes, he was.
Donald Trump had the final choice.
He did, but he did it.
And he took Mike Pence. He has to live with that terrible decision.
And I agree. It was a terrible decision, but he was still.
And we all make bad decisions at times. So
we all do.
We're fair. We are fair, and we're going to call things out. We may disagree on the subject, but Donald Trump could have chosen anybody else.
And he should have.
So I don't
And he
think that
should have.
somebody said you have to choose Mike
I
Pence.
think he was highly recommended, and he was highly recommended because at that point in time, Donald Trump needed the evangelical vote because they were saying all the Stormy Daniel type crap back then, and it was the locker room talk that Donald Trump was at. So they wanted to get, they wanted to get a squeaky clean Indiana, I love Jesus, I'm a holy roller type to combat Donald Trump. So he agreed. And so a lot of the people that are advising him the last time, thank the Lord, will not be on here this time, because all these people that he listened to at first, they crapped on him. They weren't loyal. And so I think at the beginning, he was told it was somebody that he could trust. And I do think he learned to trust him. And the whole time I kept thinking, should we not? Should we not? And so I think he learned a big lesson, a really big lesson.
Well, here's the latest when it comes to the VP picks. And by the way, I'm going to take it right off the top. Kristi Noem is still a candidate.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
But I'm just telling you, no, she is officially listed as a candidate when they talk to Trump's people. I'm just telling you.
And it may be. I heard him in an interview on Friday that said because of the dog issue, he's not picking her.
This is reported yesterday.
Okay, when this was Friday, then this could be something else, because you're right, a new thing came up over the weekend. And so if she might still be on the list, but I don't think he will pick her. I don't. In the interview that I heard him on, he said that regardless of how you feel about dogs, the timing of the fact that she put this out in a book when she did not even have to tell anybody was just bad decision making. And he's done with having bad decision makers.
I agree. And the reason I started with her was because I was shocked to see her still listed as a candidate according to his team as of yesterday.
Interesting. That is interesting.
And maybe he had a chance to listen to her speak and give her account of it. One thing that people needed to know is that allegedly she quote shot the dog, but I've heard that is not true.
Well, she said she did it.
And that the dog had already attacked several human beings.
Correct.
And the dog had already attacked, was killing livestock as well.
Correct. And I think that's all true.
And I'm not sticking up for her. I'm just trying to get the whole fact out.
I just think it was,
of the story.
Regardless of it was a good thing that she did it or not, that's the one thing that is bipartisan. People, as a general rule, love their animals. They love their pets. Heck, we buy sweaters for our pets and expensive dog food and all that. Regardless of whether she should have done it or not, she's doubling down. Over this weekend, she doubled down on her statement. She needs to just shut up. I mean, she just needs to be quiet about it because it was bad timing that she did it.
I know. So whatever. Like, I don't want to get into it over the top because I'm not over the top because it's like, okay, I think that a good decision will be made this time because Trump he's made some bad decisions in his life. We all do with business.
We all do.
And then I think he's going to learn from it.
Yeah.
I really, really, really do that. So with that being said, some of the people, now the list is getting longer. The ones that are officially listed were J.D. Vance, Senator J.D. Vance.
I've heard that too.
A new one. Tim Scott, who we've been talking about. Marco Rubio, and I still don't get that. But
I think just because he's very supportive of him and he's in Florida, wouldn't he have to move out of state eventually?
Those are senators.
Right.
I don't know. The representatives, U.S. representatives who are on the list, Elise Stefanik out of New York, who has had his back from the get-go, even immediately following J6, had his back, calling the setup for what it was.
That's right.
Byron Donalds, who is my favorite.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
And we shouldn't have to throw around color and everything else, but he is a black man who goes after BLM, who goes after the media, who does not let them be the way that they have been, forces them to bring all the facts to the table. If they won't, he won't talk.
And he's easy on the eyes too. You got to think about that.
There you go. I didn't think about it from that standpoint.
He is easy on the eyes.
I'm glad he's easy on your eyes.
He's easy on most people's eyes.
Joe and I will speak for ourselves.
Well, all right. You boys, maybe you don't need to say, but I've heard a lot of women say he's easy on the eyes.
North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, who I don't get, he was on Fox News this morning. No way in hell.
Yeah, I don't get him. He's kind of mealy.
And South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem.
Interesting.
There's a list for you right there.
Yeah.
And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And reports also stating that decision will be made in the next 30 days.
That's interesting. Okay.
To give him the summer to campaign.
And that makes sense.
Before the convention.
Okay. Because I had heard it was just going to be in July, but I think that would make sense if we knew within the month. And there's a lot of good choices. So you didn't hear, like I heard a lot of people this weekend talking about, and they're not on that list, was Sarah Huckabee and his own son, Donald Trump Jr.
Interesting.
I've heard that. I'm not saying he should do it.
No.
I'm not saying he should do it. I'm just saying I heard that a lot this weekend in a couple different interviews.
Chris says Byron is my favorite as well.
Yeah.
Definitely a no on little Marco, and I would never trust a New York politician.
I don't know. Donald Trump.
Well, Donald Trump he's kind of a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Trish says I love Sarah. I'd love her too, but I just, if we're going to get into the VP talk, I just don't think it's right for her right now.
Why don't you think it's right for her right now? A lot of people.
Great question. Because I don't think she adds a ton of value to Donald Trump.
Right. I like her. I like her a lot too. And she left,
what's the value that she adds to Donald
Trump? Just that she's a female. That's it.
Okay.
I think she's great. And I think she's been supportive. And the one thing that's a good value is, and we know this, is a good working relationship with people. And the two of them get along really well. And that says a lot. You can have somebody that agrees with you a lot, but you don't work well with them, and it can ruin an entire situation.
No, that's true. It can. I get it. DJT was a New York politician. The VP Derby. How do we dress for the horse races? Yeah, I get it. I love Sarah, but I hope she stays in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I agree. Sarah's doing a great job in Arkansas. Keep her there.
Yeah, I think that's what most people think, is to keep her there.
Totally agree. 100% with that whole situation.
But there's a lot. That list is a really good list. I mean, most of them on there, I think, is great. And did you say Ron DeSantis was off that list?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They met 2 Sundays ago.
Mm-hmm. For campaign purposes.
Yeah. He's going to raise money and campaign.
Yeah.
And as we told you, I mean, they raised another $76 million over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot in the coffers for the Democratic Party, just being realistic about it. So
yeah,
Trump and crew raising money, but then again, it's more difficult because he's not allowed to campaign because he's stuck in New York with these trumped up fake cases. So
hopefully,
and we've broken that down and why they are. We just don't
Yeah.
say things. If we say something, we have backed it by fact
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over again. If we're not doing it again right now, it's just because we've done so many things about it. And also we're just trying to bring you all the other stories that are out there because my God, we've got another situation when it comes to the school districts.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Once again, the woke educational system at it again, not really worried about what your kids are doing when it comes to the basics of education. The Chicago Teachers Union negotiated a new contract with the public school system and is understood to be calling for, here it is, in Chicago, where Chicago's schools suck as bad as St. Louis schools, the inner city schools, calling for an extra $50 billion to pay for wage hikes, as well as other demands such as fully paid abortions for its members. The teachers union.
Come on.
I mean, the whole thing is just gross.
It is gross.
Immoral, nasty. Ugh.
It's gross.
They want them to pay. If you want to go do that on your own time with your own money, that's between you and whomever.
Mm-hmm.
But now you want taxpayer-funded money, taxpayer-funded abortions for your members? Oh, but that's not it. They also want new migrant services. That means illegal alien services and facilities and a host of LGBTQ related requirements and training in their schools. Now, to put the figure in context, the total base tax receipts for the state of Illinois last year were $50.7 billion. Hello? Is nobody home, as Lizzie says, in the top floor of the brain? Nobody's home.
Nobody's home.
They want $50 billion for all of that, included paid abortions for their teacher members. And the total base tax receipts for the entire state of Illinois last year were $50.7 billion. These are massive demands, stupid demands, And let's get into what those teachers are actually doing for Chicago. They have 21% for students, with only 21% of the city's 8th graders being proficient readers. 21% of 8th graders in Chicago can read. 21% of Chicago's 8th graders can read. 21% of Chicago's 8th graders can read. And they want $50 billion for abortions and illegal services and facilities, and they want a host of LGBT-related requirements. People, forget their demands. Let's start with only 21% of 8th graders being proficient, that they can actually read.
That's
And we don't
ridiculous.
think that this country
Ugh.
needs an overhaul and
Yeah, it
has to have an
does.
overhaul
Has to.
and get rid of all this bullshit woke talk, this
Mhm.
cancel culture woke talk shit. Are you kidding me?
But like in
Oh, life is so much better now because of our social services. We care so much.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm laughing,
okay, let's
but
talk social services after we take care of the meat and potatoes.
that's right. But that's how they want it. And not saying that's how they want it, meaning the regime that's ruining our country, that's how they want it. They want to dumb down America. They purposely want to make our kids dumb. I remember being a teacher, and it started, though, you guys, I know a lot of people like the Bushes, but I was an educator in the public school system at that period of time. And when they came out with that, Laura Bush came out with that No Left Behind, it really was the acceleration of dumbing down America. And at that point is when I looked at the Bush family and I was like, they're not who you think they are. They are part of the dumbing down of America. And then from that point on, you could tell.
I agree with you, Lizzie.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it came out. I remember the first time I saw all the Democrat teachers thinking this was the neatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, you guys, they are dumbing down our kids. They're literally doing it on purpose. You can't have reading groups anymore. You have to have this whole group learning because you can't, I mean, and they do still have gifted programs, but they took the average middle of the road kids and lumped them all into one reading group because it would hurt their self-esteem. And that was the Bushes. And that's when I realized Democrats like the Bushes. So it was a lot of people, like on the chat line, on the different chat lines, have said over the last week or so, the Bushes, people were blinded by the Bushes because they thought they were good Texas boys and they were sweet. They were part of the regime. They were and are. They still are. They're good old buddies with Obama.
We do what we can. We just want to bring out there $50 billion, and only 21% of the city's 8th graders can read.
That's sad.
And they're focused not on helping the kids. They're focused on helping teachers get paid for abortions and illegal services and facilities. And they're interested in LGBT related requirements and training for all schools. This is all what
I mean, okay, you just said
I read this over the weekend.
Having abortions. They teach our kids every day.
Yeah, and I don't care what they're doing in their personal time.
Well, we can't control it anyway. If they want to go kill a kid, that's their business.
It's this taxpayer money.
That's right. That's what I don't want. I don't want taxpayer money going for killing children, whether they're in the womb, out of the womb, whatever. We can't control it if you're going to take your own money and go to Illinois, go to Chicago and kill your kid. But think about what you just said. You have an educator in your classroom that their number one priority in their job is to educate children and to love on them in the process. But, oh, by the way, you're all kind of an inconvenience if you're in my belly. So I'm just going to go. That's sick.
From the People's Platform, the chat line, you guys make this one of the best platforms anywhere because you're involved, you're educated, and of course you're entertaining at the same time. And that says big time snakes. Wow. We were so blinded.
Talking about the Bushes.
Glenn, I always knew Cubs fans weren't so smart.
Well, now we know for sure. Now we know.
Man, kids are so quick with tech though. Spell check and keyboards. My kids type like wizard secretaries. Okay,
Yeah,
you're allowed.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily
That's not all
a bad
kids.
thing.
That's not all kids.
That's
There's
true.
a lot of kids that can't even read.
That's right. And so they can't even go on their phones other than to watch a TikTok or whatever.
But I mean, we're talking facts here. This isn't opinion again. It's facts. who are leading these boards? Once again, they're liberal Democratic Party members.
Mhm.
That's who's leading it. That's who's running Chicago.
That's right. They're
And our
running
kid
almost all of our
and I
school
feel
boards.
so bad for our kids, especially the kids in Chicago
Me too.
and St. Louis
Mhm.
and other cities around the country who are not getting what they need. And it has nothing to do with how they're growing up. It has nothing to do if they're coming from a poor neighborhood. I started my life, as I've talked about with people, in a trailer park. Okay. So I don't want to hear this bullshit. 17-year-old mom told you need to abort him.
Mhm.
Roe v. Wade is now legal 3 months later. You're never going to be bullshit. You're never, ever going to be able to raise him. Yet here I am. So I don't
Here
want to
you
hear any
are.
of that shit.
Yeah.
Is it easy? No. But God, it's so much easier now for people and women to be, and obviously there needs to be more services for women. If we're trying to take money for abortion, then we also need to have special money for women who need help once they have
Absolutely.
the children.
Agree.
So this is what they want to focus on. This is not focused on the kids
Mhm.
and what they need.
That's right. And I agree with you. Just because you live in an
And these are
area-
liberal causes. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
I feel sorry for parents that are like that. I was, I was in like the North County area for years with my mom and dad that didn't hardly have any money at all. We lived in a house without even a carport. So, but my parents today, my mom doesn't even get this. She's alive, but she doesn't even get what the hell these people are doing to the schools these days. Because I was in Riverview Gardens School District. And if anybody that knows that, that's not the creme de la creme of a school district. And I didn't have any of that in school back in the day. I didn't have any of this. I didn't know whether my teacher was going to have an abortion, not have an abortion, whether she was gay, whether she was straight. All I knew is they taught me how to read and write.
Well, you've got to teach discipline. You've got to be taught to read and write. Social issues have no place in our schools.
Mhm.
I will repeat it again. I have no place, and there is no place for social issues in schools. There is not. There's just not.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because what happens is you have a few people pushing the social issues, and you're not. If you do social issues, that's for mom and dad.
Yeah.
It's not for the damn schools.
Mhm.
Kids need to be protected at school, but let's not go freaking overboard and make sure that this becomes number one over our education. And look at the countries that are dominating the United States now when it comes to actual reading, writing subjects. And then you look at their social woke crap.
Mhm.
There isn't. The nations that are getting more intelligent are not the ones that are focused on woke, BLM, and everything else. They're focused on learning. And it's easy to see. And the only way that you're going to change things is by getting serious about actual education. And when it comes to schools, showing deterrence for situations. Case in point, the video that we're showing you right now. And I'm so glad that this school district is doing what they're doing, because if you don't take care of business, bad things will happen in life. Case in point, the video we're going to show you here in just a second. What happens with the whole situation here is one where this happened in a North Carolina high school. This video went viral because a student hit his teacher, and now he's been smacked with felony charges and is being charged as an adult. We'll talk more about it after you see the video of what actually happened.
Oh! You think that affected me any?
Let me hit you again. Want me to hit you again?
I don't want it.
You want me to hit you again?
I don't want
Want me
it.
to hit you again?
my God.
Ouch.
Playing with me. I told your dumb ass I'll knock those dumbass glass off your face.
And do I look like I care?
What's wrong with you? What you gonna do? Still sit in that chair? Nigga, you was a bitch. My granny, nigga, stop playing with me. Bitch ass. Ain't nobody even come and you just got slapped. Bitch, go back to teaching. Yo, soft ass.
Ouch.
Yeah, just look at this black student smacking the white teacher.
Uh-huh.
Not once, but then, and Joe, you can play it again. Yeah, just play it
again.
through.
Play it
We'll
again.
talk over it. He smacks her again. How proud his community must be of him. And by the way, many people don't remember this happening a few years ago. And guess what? Did you see this all over the media? Hell no, because it's a black student smacking a white teacher.
That's right.
And we're going to say the things other people are afraid to say
100%.
because it's fact. Let's have an honest conversation.
It is. It is the truth, because if that was a
That doesn't look
white,
like or sound like mental illness to me. That sounds like somebody who's just a nasty ass,
Nasty.
evil person.
And in
That's
that mugshot
And
picture,
he was not provoked in any way.
Is he doing the Baphomet, the horns with the devil sign in the one hand on
I
the
don't know. Let's
on the
see.
one
Watch
picture
it
there?
again.
On the picture.
Oh yeah,
on the
in the
picture.
picture,
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
His
And
left
that's
hand,
evil.
camera
Yep.
right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And do I look like I care?
What you gonna do? Still sit in that chair? You use a bitch. My granny, nigga, stop.
You know what? And somebody said, I wonder why she didn't put her hands up her face. It's almost like she was sitting there like, you don't bother me, which might be the way she had to. So maybe if she acted like she was scared, he would have done more to her. I don't know.
Exactly.
That I don't know. But I thought it was interesting. I do understand why the kids in their chairs didn't get up, because they don't know what's going to happen. It was obviously probably a rough classroom. But the one videoing it, he was kind of laughing like it was funny.
Connie says, post it all over. I will share. Well, there is a little bit of hope when it comes to this story. And I say that because that is 17-year-old Aquavius or Aquavis Hickman. Aquavis Hickman. And he is the guy that assaulted the teacher. So now he is facing separate charges, 2 separate charges, and they're both felonies. And
Good.
he's only 17 now. It happened when I think he was 15 or 16. 16.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what?
Mhm.
Or 17. He's being charged as an adult, and he should be
He
charged
should
as
be.
an adult.
He absolutely
And you lock
should
that
be.
little mother trucker up,
Yep.
and you give him a deterrent that he needs to change his life around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 17-year-olds in 8th grade. Was this an 8th grade class?
No. What?
I don't know. Glenn's saying oh no, he's saying in general, 17-year-olds are sometimes now in 8th grade classes. But I'm so glad, like,
You have to have deterrence.
you have to. Could you imagine being an educator these days and the violence that some of these teachers are having to hear?
You just can't make excuses.
You can't make excuses. And you're right. You started to say it earlier that if that boy had been white slapping a black teacher, that would have been on every newscast around the world.
Well, of course it would.
But because it's black on white, and I'm just bringing it out, and I feel like I can bring it out with my family being so racially diverse, no one should get slapped by anyone. But there is a disparity that is backwards now. If you are black, you can get by with more things, but I'm hoping that's changing. I hope it's changing, that no matter who you are, if you slap a teacher when she's just trying to teach you, then that's a felony. You can't be slapped while you're trying to teach a group of kids.
Shouldn't be.
No. And there's nothing that she could have done that deserved that. Maybe she's an awful teacher. Maybe she said rude things. I don't know, but you're not hearing that being said. I mean, I know my kids have had rude teachers and rude coaches, and I'm like, that's life. You don't have to take mean things from them, but just move on. You don't go up and slap your teacher. And there's been a lot of teachers I wanted to slap.
Jeannie says, I hope he's in an adult prison so
I hope so
he
too.
can be treated
Yep.
the same way
Mm-hmm.
that he treated that teacher, where he walks in and he gets all parts of his body smacked.
That's right. And you know what, that teacher, it looked like a girl, but I don't know if any of you heard the voice. It was a male voice coming out of her.
I didn't even find.
Yeah, but that just
I
shows.
don't care.
I don't care either, but I don't know. There's something going on in our schools that's just not right. Just not right. If that teacher was trans, I'm not saying she or he deserved to be slapped, but my God.
Nobody
Not at all.
deserves.
No.
You cannot touch another person.
Never.
Ever.
Never. You don't have to
You
agree
can't.
with somebody else, but you should never walk up and stuff. That was the
You
point.
can't
I'm trying
assault
to
somebody
make in
or
there.
touch somebody who
That's
does not
right.
want to be touched. It is assault.
Yes.
You can't do it.
No. There's a lot of things that we don't agree with people. You just can't walk up and slap them.
Trish says it starts at home.
Yeah, it does.
Not surprised. Susan says if she was a black teacher, shit would have gone down.
Well, and I agree. Even in the classroom, I think the kids would have rose up then. I do.
It starts in the home. Another chat comment
Mhm.
that we got, that person should go to jail if you assault somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, comments are all over the place. You just can't do that stuff.
Mhm.
But once again, This isn't the first time. I mean, we showed video. I think it was from North Carolina. Where was it? Where was it? St. Louis. The teacher took away the video game in class, and the big teacher. And once again, unfortunately, a white teacher was attacked by a big black young student,
Mhm.
beat the hell out of her because he took the video games away.
Yes. Yes.
He's being tried as an adult, and
Good.
but he's still saying it was the teacher's fault.
Ugh, that's a parenting problem. It really is. Because look at the kids today that if your kid, my kid, Joe's kid, our chat line people's kids did it, we would be going, what the hell is wrong with you? Some of the parents think
Joe,
people deserve it.
Joe, did we delete the video yet?
No, it's still here.
I'd love to see it again, and we can talk over it. I mean, the problem is, and I hear this as well, we already need more teachers. They're not paid great. Some people say that teachers aren't in as bad a situation as we make it out to be because they have 3 months off during the summer, but it's bad. And then they're dealing with kids who don't care in many cases. And now teachers
are getting assaulted.
And they're falling by the wayside. We need more teachers. And we can't find good ones or people even want to do the job anymore. And I'm telling you right now, what school districts don't want to hear, every teacher I know can't wait for retirement.
I know.
They just can't. They can't wait for retirement.
That's right. And it's a lot of people can't wait for retirement, but now they want to get out. Principals do not back their teachers anymore. And I would love
some do. I don't want to say that in general.
But as a bigger rule than not, they don't. And it's not because the principals don't want to. They're not backed by the bigger administration because everybody's afraid of lawsuits.
Tanya says, my dad didn't beat us, but we are good people. Guess what? I haven't had any issues with my kids. They've been great.
Yeah, me too. I haven't hit my kids
I didn't
either.
hit my kids. I didn't whip my kids.
No, I didn't either, and they're good. So you don't have to. I mean, I'm not saying you have to hit kids, but my guess is he was hit a lot. I'm guessing this kid that hit, I'm assuming his parents or parent used the form of just smacking, and this guy has no impulse control.
So, we're being asked where this was. This was in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's just, look at that.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter that the teacher's probably trans.
I'm just bringing it up because people on the chat line are thinking it was a guy.
It's a good point. Lizzie, it's a good point.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, though. I don't care if that was a guy, a girl, a trans, whoever. You do not deserve to be slapped in the face ever, and not twice. And so I don't know. But this person they're saying is a female does have a male voice. Maybe she just has a dark voice. I don't know.
No, we appreciate you guys jumping. This is cancelthisshow.com. Here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. You can see all of our original content there. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe taking care of the video and the sound as well, and chiming in from time to time, bringing you all the news headlines, politics, water cooler stories just like this, cancel culture education and stories, political interviews from all over the country. And of course, our free for all Fridays with paranormal, comedy, and all kinds of conspiracy that we get through. So we appreciate you guys jumping in. It is pathetic. But these are real situations that, my God, we need to not just be brushing under the rug. We need to be talking about them. You need to be showing them. We need to attack problems head on, and we can't worry about offending.
We can't.
You've got to address issues directly. You've got to address issues head on, because if we don't, they become bigger issues. That's what we've seen happen day after day, night after night, week after week. These things continue to happen. What a show again. The fastest 2 hours in podcasting.
Yes.
Annette says, yes. We need to know. Things to look forward today. We'll see if Donald Trump erases or deletes more of his Truth Social comments, whatever specifically the judge in his case said he needed to, or he would be could be or would be going to jail. Do you remember what that story was or what the comments were, Lizzie?
Can you say that again?
When it comes to Donald Trump,
and
possibly, quote, being threatened to go to jail if he did not delete his Truth Social comments.
Yes. According to the Associated Press, I assumed it was the comments you were talking about, but the Associated Press don't say the specific comments. They just say his Truth Social comments. I don't know how far back they're saying or which ones it is, but if they don't delete it, according to the judge, if he doesn't delete it by like 2:50 today, Eastern Standard Time, then he has a possibility of going to jail.
Well,
he'll definitely get fined.
Judge Merchan or whatever in the case is threatening the jail time And he's admitting that Donald Trump is probably likely our next president. He's saying it.
He's saying it. And he doesn't like it.
And he said he would put him in jail for future gag order violations, despite allowing others to attack Donald Trump with their voice.
Yes.
He's been fined $10,000 for violating a gag order. But we've already Judge Merchan, who is as dirty as they can be. Juan Merchan.
Yep.
Juan Merchan, who has donated money to the Democratic Party and allowed to lead this case, which is election interference over Donald Trump, and has not allowed a fair trial from the get-go, which is why they'll find him guilty of something, because they won't take the embarrassment. We've told you this from the get-go, before he even stepped foot in court. This is all predestined. It is planned by the Democratic Party, by Special Prosecutor Jack Smith as well. Boy, we'll see if he wants to go. Many of our viewers and listeners feel Trump wants to go to prison.
Yeah. I don't think he literally wants to be in there. I don't think he
could he
wants
take
to
another
live life.
mugshot?
Yeah, I think he wants another mugshot.
Wouldn't that
for
be
sure.
interesting?
Yeah.
He could smile at this one.
Yeah. And I think if he's in jail, he has to have Secret Service. So it's not like you or I going to jail, Vic. So, I mean, from what I'm understanding is if he goes to jail, they have to clear a whole hallway, that he can't be around other people, and Secret Service gets to be there. So I'm sure he'd like a day or two of that.
We appreciate everybody jumping in with us today. We could continue to go on. I don't know. I know we get more and more listeners the later as the show goes. We'll talk about it. We'll see where we go. We're grateful for your guys' support. We really are. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing the show. If you're listening on X, please follow us as well. Follow us if you can on X. We'd like to get up the following list right there. Of course, you can watch us, as we talk about, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Rumble, and CloudHub as well. And then, of course, we go to Google, Spotify, Apple, and other podcast listening platforms once the show ends. We are grateful for this free speech platform. If anybody can do anything to help us, we're grateful for that. Also, if you know of any advertisers from a national standpoint or local to partner with us, the companies that we do have enjoy it and like being a part of it. So we are grateful for all of your time here. Did we miss anything, Joe?
No, I think we hit everything.
My gosh.
Did it.
The fastest 2 hours in
Yes,
podcasting.
for sure.
Guys, we are grateful for it. Have an awesome day. We'll see where this Monday, May 6th takes us. So until next time, for Pro Joe and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. Have a great day. That does it for the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. We'll see you tomorrow.